Jesus.
All right, I'm recording, I believe. The audio wasn't too terrible last time, but I do sound like I'm in a room, which I obviously am in a room, but so my apologies.
And I just thought you were out in an open field.
You mean in like a cavern?
Well, I wanted to be like, hello, Studio Simon kind of thing, but I'm not. I'm like cheap webcam type kind of a voice sounding thing.
Not a bit.
So why has Jess got a swirly arrow on her face? Did you see that in the Roll20? It's gone now.
Like, I'm only closing this so I'm not telling you while I'm chatting away.
Hey, Maddie.
No, because I only see 3 people actually in Roll20.
Yeah.
I'm coming in now.
I need to flick over to a different campaign. That's going to be helpful.
Which campaign are you in?
Just doing some prep in the Icewind Dale one.
Are you banking it as well? Are you?
There's a lot to bank on. I'm banking all over the place.
Simon, did you see where we're at with Saturday game?
Oh, it's gonna get good.
Because you missed it last time.
No, I haven't. That is tomorrow. Vanette is at work, and I won't have to do any housework or digging or gardening or anything like that. And I will sit down and listen to it. Then.
Okay. No, it's more where we stop is quite exciting because next session's going to be fun.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
good.
I can tell you if you want, but it's just going to be fun.
Yeah. I mean, like, fill me in while we're waiting for
Cameron.
Cam's getting the swirly line, recycling sort of line thing.
I'm just coming in, so it might just be.
Oh.
Might be spinning me up. But I'm in. I can see stuff. I can click and move.
Is it in?
And do stuff.
Am I in?
Whee.
Oh yeah, there's Deval.
Is it in?
How's your day been, guys? Any good?
Yeah, mine's been alright.
Nice.
And how's the house going, Matt?
Really long.
The removalists came and took out a bunch of furniture, but then the delivery guys didn't actually come. So I'm now set up on the carpet.
Wow.
What, sleeping on the carpet or?
I still got a bed here. They came and removed a bunch of the side tables and dresses and stuff because new stuff was meant to be coming in to replace it. But they decided to keep working during the start of lockdown while the people doing the deliveries apparently didn't.
Oh, nice work for them. That's always nice.
Yeah.
It's so stressful, isn't it, moving?
Oh, I fucking hate it. I did just find out that I'm working from home for the week now too, so.
Ooh. Yeah, I gotta check.
Thank you for reminding me. I haven't checked.
Yeah, I just was like, oh crap, I better.
I mean, part of me is like, oh, turn up to the office. I didn't have a good time working from home last time. So unproductive.
It's always mixed feelings. It's like, yay! Oh, I'm gonna get nothing done, am I? I'm gonna spend my entire time prep for my next campaign. Yay!
No, it looks like I'm still going to work.
Oh, real?
You're going into the office?
Huh?
On Tuesday or tomorrow?
Tuesday. Tomorrow's a public holiday.
What are those?
I don't know. I'm just finding out about them. I don't actually like them very much.
I just know I don't get paid on them, so.
Oh, I just know that they turn a lovely, nice week into a shorter week, but still the same amount of shit to get done.
Yeah, it's true. See.
Alright, so everyone's here, hey?
Yeah. I think Wayne and Rain will be back in a moment, but yeah.
That could...
no, that's expected.
Matt, are you joining us in Roll20?
I'm in Roll20.
Are you in the right Roll20? Are you in Ring of Bones?
I entered the wrong one myself, and then I had to like, oh yeah. The right one.
Like,
I'm not alone.
it says Ring of Bones. Wait, are we not in Ring of Bones?
We're in Ring DMs, all of us.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
just refresh, man.
Oh. Yeah, I can only see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of us. That's okay. I will refresh this one.
Well, I can only see you and myself.
Oh,
wait,
here you
yeah,
go.
refreshing works. Now I can
Here
see
you
everybody.
come. Yeah. Lovely. Okay, so yeah, a little bit of a refresher because we're, like maybe the DM was a little bit inebriated and it was also quite late. Primarily I was inebriated. And now that everyone's here again, this is the third time tonight already. I just want to say sorry, that's not cool. I don't really intend to do that in the future. Too much party, not enough DM, I think, by the end there. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Oh, good, mate. It's good fun.
So, as I was having a bit of a chat with Hannah, well, not apparently, but you guys obviously wanted to lay low a little bit and made your way into a like an opium den or a pleasure den, for want of a better word. There was many an option available, and I believe a few of you decided to sit down and maybe, was it formulate a plan? Perhaps anyone with some recollection of that late evening would like to fill your DM in. No, I mean, give us a recap.
Oh well. That was specifically what Duval asked to do, because I want to fill in the DM.
Wow.
I think that's what everyone was doing. They were filling in something.
Pretty much.
That's right.
Hilarious.
Yes.
But once the DM's been filled in, I think the idea was that Martha had given a rundown on the hags and the night markets, and that basically she wants them gone. She's lost too many friends to this, and Duval said, yeah, look, there's definitely an aligned cause there, because he wants a bit of payback as well, and it seems extremely similar. But also we hadn't decided what to do in regards to the Raj Pasha yet. So like we've got two paths to go down, but we haven't made a choice yet.
That's right, yeah. So yeah, that's basically your options. You've Amarth would have sort of told you perhaps a little bit about the Motmoana sleep markets and their illicit trade, as it were. Not that you guys have really spoken to anyone, but you get the impression it's not advertised. There's not like tourist signs saying Motmoana sleep markets this way that you've seen. It was sort of news to you. And Amarth, for you yourself, you've actually had to do quite a bit of digging. Although it's a location in the city, it's tucked away, should we say? So you've heard about it, and if you have wanted to, you visited there, but not really dug in any depth. Like, it's not a safe place for one innocent.
I think Amarth has a contact there, but that's it. He hasn't really been there very much or gotten very much of a lay of it. Just basic stuff and maybe a contact.
Yeah. Oh, that was loud. Okay. Yeah. So basically, these are your options. It looks to me like you might at least go and investigate the Motmoana sleep markets. Is there anything else whilst we're here, whilst you're in this den of iniquity, that you would like to do?
I think most of us have gotten fairly high and satisfied ourselves otherwise.
Duval had to make a death save from a death of pillows.
Take 2d6 pillow damage.
Worst ways to die. Hey! That is a serious thing. It hurts. Motorboating hurts.
I suppose if you've got a beard or stubble, maybe, yeah.
No, the suffocation from it.
Oh.
Like, if you go too long, too deep.
They can be also very solid pillows.
Oh, you mean love pillows?
A sack of hammers.
I see where you're going.
What do you think we're talking about, Simon?
I thought you were talking about like biting pillows. Like
Oh, man.
I thought the Val was more into women than men.
At this point,
Okay.
Duval's going to emerge from his small part of the den within the speakeasy, looking a little bit dishevelled and sweaty, and looking to get together with the rest of the group to see where we go next.
So as you step out onto the docks again, I maybe might not have given much of a description last time, apart from obviously, you know, there's like the upturned enormous statue that's mainly submerged in sand. The palace sits on the tip of the blade of this sword. The villagers and the city folk have built around it for many, many years. It's weathered, and the face is turned down, so you can't really see who it is or what it is. And as far as the market goes, there's a bit of a sandstorm picking up now, so all the tents and the markets and the bazaars are like flapping. All the bunting of Kossuth, as I mentioned, is dancing in the streets, down the cobbled streets. And some people are kind of scowling and sort of battening down the hatches a little bit. Some are choosing to now pack up shop. I would say, Duval, if you say that you're the first person back onto the docks, you sort of take a few steps, and then suddenly, running up to you comes the quartermaster's apprentice. And he's incredibly out of breath and red in the face. Uh-oh. And holding his ledger to his chest, almost to stop the wind from like blowing at his robes away, kind of as the wind's starting to pick up. And he says, "Oh, sir, you're the captain of the vessel, that's right?"
Not the captain, but if you're running over here with such a red face, I'm concerned for your news. Maybe out with it, boy.
He says, and he sort of ponders for a moment whether to sort of save face or just admit, and he kind of goes, and he looks you up and down. He gets a bit scared, and he thinks, okay, I'll do this. So he goes, I made a mistake, and I just remembered I need to write down the captain of both the ships. Who is the captain that I can put down in the ledger? And more importantly, my quartermaster, he wants to know what are you carrying? What are you declaring? So basically it's customs. But he's that shit that he like forgot, was like, oh yeah, so sorry, and then it's like, so he needs to know who is the captain of each ship, or who are you saying is the captain, and what are you declaring?
All right, I'm gonna stick my head back into the harem, and just shout out, Finn, what name are you going by now? What is the captain handle that you're going ahead with? Basically, see if the captain will be named as Finn, or if she wants to put another title onto it.
Yeah. Are you there, Hannah?
Can you hear me?
Ah, yes, can now.
Yeah, sorry. I was probably whispering in uncertainty. We're going to go with, it's Satella. Captain Satella.
Captain...
Sounds nice.
Satella. And he sort of goes... Is that written how it sounds, ma'am? And he's sort of like hurriedly kind of scribbling into a ledger. Citella.
Yep, ELLA.
Yep. And he sort of writes a note, and he says obviously the Kakusureta and the obsidian. No, it wasn't the obsidian. It was the obsidian python, I think. This one actually.
Yeah, I think
because the Obsidian Panther was a scarlet
It
ship.
is Python, yeah.
Okay. And you own both vessels, do you, ma'am?
They come under myself and my crew.
Okay.
I am merely the one who sets our direction and course and leads us To greener pastures.
And he says, as you would obviously know, Dhukkan Wakharab prides itself on its sales and imports and exports. I need to know what you have on board, and if there's anything that you're willing to sell, then perhaps we could either arrange for you to meet someone to sell your wares, or if you're just passing through, then just please let me know.
We are just passing through. We are here to drop a few friends off before moving further.
He pauses momentarily, and
Whoa. We're also here to buy stuff.
he says, well, yes, Dhukkan Wakharab prides itself also on the size of the markets. He says, there isn't anything that you can't find here. And he kind of scratches his neck a little bit, kind of uncomfortable, like perhaps he feels like he might have just said a bit too much. But he goes, oh, well, thank you for the information. And he kind of like hurries along, and he's got his sandals are slapping on the ground as the sand kind of powders away, and he runs off into the distance. But has obviously just done his job a little bit better than he did before. And so basically, Amarth would be the one to tell you. Let me just go into the right map. Amarth would be the one to tell you that I think to the north.
Simon,
Yeah.
did something happen in that conversation more than we understood it to be?
Only on his behalf.
So is there no insight I could gain from what else he like? Was there anything that we were in danger of not having said the right thing?
You can no. You can roll me an insight, by all means.
Would
So-
Amarth have understood what that meant, purely because of our current situation?
Yes, 100%. I would say, given in the light of what Amarth has recently revealed to you about Dhukkan Wakharab and its multitude of vendors, shall we say, basically, it's Baron Samedi. You definitely get the impression that it wasn't really so much the information that was given, like that you handed over, but it was more the fact that he was like wasn't sure if he'd accidentally slipped a slip of the tongue with regards to what you could purchase in Dhukkan Wakharab with regards to the markets. Like it almost like it was a bit uncomfortable for him to even mention markets in general. Like, you know how you have to sort of question yourself, like when you're like, should I be saying this? And obviously because he's young and naive, so that sort of alludes, I guess, or reinforces the fact that perhaps people know of a certain markets, but maybe they don't like to talk about it or feel that they can't talk about it. Because an 18 is pretty good.
Okay.
So yeah, to the north is the ordinary sort of markets, the extension of the markets to the the bazaar, like uptown as it were, and then to the south, where the drow's been placed in her stall, and beyond is where Amarth. That's where you have seen the Moana sleep markets.
Okay, so down this way or this way?
Yeah, sort of down this way here.
Okay.
So that's where you're all choosing to head, is it?
Duval's just going to point out for a second. It's like we've been invited to go to see the Raj, yet no one has seen him for a long time. I'm curious, and with him turning a blind eye towards the activities that have been happening down his sleep markets. Should we pay him a visit first?
Feel that we should pay the sleep markets a visit first. Any hold we can have over dear Raj, if we do manage to find him, would be better than none.
This is always a good thing. I like your thinking.
Does the Baron object?
Not at all. What am I objecting to?
Are you happy to pay a visit to the sleep markets before visiting the Raj? If we can find him.
What is the sleep markets?
This is where Jess can fill them in.
So the sleep markets is where you can go to buy a lot more illicit items. It is not a very nice place. Most people tend to avoid it. It can be hard to find and has very nasty denizens, but this is where I believe the trade of the souls by the hags to be taking place.
So, out of character, Wayne, what you remember from Avernus, how the hags would be somewhat prevalent in Avernus, spoiler alert, and what they would, and I've done like a bit of lore research as to why they would be there, and basically what Amarth reveals to you is that there's some kind of illicit trade going on there. It's like the black market. So you can buy and sell a lot more things that maybe people would rather not sort of talk about or discuss, and subsequently attracts the attention of otherworldly, undesirable patrons. In the time that you would have been there, Amarth, you would have certainly seen that hags have stalls and that they sell the soul larvae that you can get from Avernus. And the likes of, you would have seen the occasional illithid walking around and a lich or so. Just very nasty looking people who would be interested in purchasing those sort of things. And that's what you relay back to the Baron, if you choose to.
Sorry, is it a traveling market?
No, well, I mean, you could probably work that out when you kind of get there, or if you as you're choosing to go there. But it's again, if you're asking Amarth, obviously. Yep. Jess is quite new, so I would have to jump in as Amarth. But what Amarth would sort of let you know is that it looks like it could be packed away, but it seems to have some standing there, if that makes any sense. Like there's quite a lot of traffic, which would suggest that it's quite established. I think it's probably a good way of saying it's an established market. But you'd have to.
Do you need a password to get in?
Amarth hasn't.
Sorry, I've not needed a password to get in.
Yeah, Amarth didn't need a password to get in. Yeah. But what you didn't do is just like stroll freely. You just were like, oh, that's a big nope. I'll put that under nope. You weren't brave enough to walk the markets openly yourself.
Yeah. Okay, and then I just have that friend there. Well, contact.
Yeah. So your
relay that part.
Your contact would have been Precious Molly.
Yep.
Is the name she goes by. And
she was a merchant there, correct?
Yeah, merchant.
Yep.
So, are you all agreed that that's what you want to do?
Agreed.
Okay, very well. Let me grab your characters, which I have done.
So that was Merchant Molly.
Precious. Her name's Molly. Precious Molly.
Thank you.
And let me just move you to the sleep markets. Here we are. Oh. So, as you start to make your way through like downtown Dhukkan Wakharab, you notice that all the fog of war's on, by the way. But what you notice is it definitely starts to become more unsavory. There's people vomiting in the street, and DMs are drunk in the corner. Shady looking people are doing rather interesting transactions. The streets aren't clean, and as you look around, I get everyone to do me a perception.
Perception.
Right. Let's have a look.
Yes. 20 bitches.
Oh, very nice. So it's quite apparent to you that whilst they're by the docks, there was children playing and playing pick-up sticks and stuff. There's not a single child to be seen, or indeed anyone that looks remotely innocent in this kind of area. And you make your way. It's a bad quality map again. I'm sorry.
No stress.
Oh shit. And hopefully I should be able to port you all in. Oh, yeah, there you go. Now, is that everyone? Yes, you are. You are half size. We've got Rain, Dorful, Baron. No, we need the rest. This is the...
Is Rain bringing his intern?
It seems he is.
Well, yeah, I brought her along, but it's up to you, Rain. Would you want to...
I was about to ask the party, actually, if they want to hire her now, I would be, I wouldn't mind doing it.
Hey, I literally have it here that basically you decided last week or the other day to do that.
Just to check, what time is it?
30? Oh, you mean in the game?
Yeah, because Baron's got a date tonight.
That's right. He's got a hot infernal date.
It is getting late now. Like, what was once a hot, sweltering day is actually starting to drop quite dramatically, like as deserts tend to do.
No, Baron has to go back to the ship then. Sorry, because he's got a date. And I need to go. He needs to stop by to get some like food from the markets and maybe some, I don't know, hot candles.
Okay.
Rum.
Sorry.
Some rum as well.
Yep, some rum. Yeah. So he'd like to be with you guys, but he has another calling.
Okay, so I will put him.
Even I am going
All
along
reconnaissance. All reconnaissance is good reconnaissance.
So as you sort of... Sorry.
Yes, totally reconnaissance.
So Baron's going to go undercover, and there'll be some hot candles involved. Hot wax. So hey.
Undercover.
Sassy.
Good luck.
All right. Well, I mean, that still leaves us with...
Actually, before he goes though, what he will do is he will cast aid on everyone.
Oh.
So that will last 8 hours and increases your maximum by 5 hit points and gives you 5 hit points.
Okay, nice.
At least he can give you something that lasts a little longer. So there you go.
Hit points was that again?
Simon.
Sorry, say again.
How many hit points?
5. No, it's not temporary hit points. It increases your maximum by 5.
Oh, yes, so it is.
And gives you 5 hit points and heals you 5 hit points. So it puts you up to your new maximum. So it's temporary. Is if you lose temporary hit points, it's gone. But if you go below your maximum, you can always be healed back up to your maximum.
Yes, you are.
Nice.
Simon,
Okay,
I've just realised I cannot actually make any edits to Amarth.
Oh,
So I
okay.
can't mark off if I do spells or anything.
Oh, really? Oh, that's it, because I...
Did we actually link her to my D&D Beyond? I can't actually remember. I don't think we did.
Maybe I need to invite you into the Ring of Bones campaign and maybe allocate her to you. Oh, yeah, right. Okay, that's... One moment. I'll get it happening. I'll see what I can do this end. Wayne probably knows D&D Beyond a bit better than I do. Campaigns.
I've pasted it in there. Just copy that. What do you call it? Copy that link. Can you see it? I've pasted it into Roll20.
Come
Oh,
up to the dark
Yeah, I
side.
was looking.
We have cookies.
Yeah.
So when you go to that link, you then have a selection of your characters. Scroll down. Select your character and then scroll down to the very bottom and then say join campaign. Something like that.
yeah, I can unassign her as well, and then that way you can pick her up, I think. So I'll unassign.
I think... Oh, yeah, I'll wait for you to unassign because that might bring it up to be available.
Yeah, I've unassigned her,
Okay.
so you can probably claim her now.
If it's unassigned... Hold on, what is your character's name?
I'm off.
Got it.
Oh, you got it? I see, because you created it, Simon. I can see.
So you got her?
You're in.
You're in the driver's seat?
It's taking a moment to load.
Oh, it looks like you've got it. It's got your name against it. Is everybody level 7?
Yes.
What? No.
Really?
Oh,
Like,
level 6.
Most of us are 6.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yes, you are 6. Well, that could change.
Enjoy the extra level, Jess.
Yes, I will.
I mean, we might be 7 after this, you never know.
Second one.
So,
Yeah. I
basically...
need to add another class to myself.
Really? The Baron's gonna get an extra level for what?
No, I'm not
Being
saying
a
that.
bad boy?
No, that's not what we're saying. It's all good. He's 6 for now. It's all good.
Levels up depending on performance roll.
Oh, I see. That's a lot of pressure to put under.
Roll with disadvantage.
I'll cast guidance.
A tiny blue pill appears in your hand.
Yeah, Wayne, just before Baron Samedi, whilst these guys are doing this, I'll just, for shits and gigs, get you to roll me a performance, an athletics, and a...
Oh, come on. All right, fine. Performance is not good because, I mean, it's charisma, but it's only a +4. I mean, it's not like I'm playing her a song, you know. How about persuasion? Persuasion.
Persuaded that it was
Waiting.
good.
No. It has
She's
to be
already
Fine.
going on a
There you
date.
go, it's an 8.
Mm.
Oh, no. Alright, athletics, let's go there.
Oh no.
Poor
What was
lass.
the last one? What was the last one?
And just like a charisma, just, I don't know, like persuasion or something like that, whatever.
Oh, you see, persuasion, I'm pretty reasonable.
Hey.
All right, well, that's a good
And still
insight.
only- And
So
still I
did
only
you
rolled an 8.
persuade her that your performance was good?
Persuading her to give me a second chance. You know, there was a lot of pressures. I got a little blitz today.
I've been at sea, come on.
What you want me to do? What do you want? You want another performance? Is that what we're going?
No. We'll go with the 8. That's great. That's brilliant. We'll put the 8 into the rumour mill. Fantastic. So Baron Samedi, you're officially not there then for this?
If this is happening late at night, then no. I think somebody had he wanted to pump somebody for information.
All right.
My word. Okay, well, I mean, you guys usually have just insane amounts of night vision, so it's getting dark, and there is a bit of a gloom amongst about the Moana sleep markets. Oh, dumbass! I've revealed. Okay. You see most stuff up to probably about kind of there. The Moana Sleep Market is like nothing that I think any of you have seen. Probably the only person that seems to be most comfortable would be I can't read her name, but Qualandrin.
Should we call it?
It's
Call it you.
you guys can't see her name. I'm seeing, so let me just.
I can see Qualandrin. Isn't it?
Qualandrin, yeah.
Qualandrin.
Qualandrin, yeah. Can you guys see? There you go. See all of this. They really need to sort this out with the Roll20. See, and then see. Save settings. There you go. Qualandrin. That's a drow name for you. She basically seems to be quite accustomed and quite used to this place, although she is looking over her shoulder very much. So you sort of approach the markets, and being nighttime, you'd expect there not to be many people, but it almost seems like this place is thriving. There is a foul smell of rotten meat. There's copious amounts of like black looking liquid all sort of congealing on the floor, and this place is unsavory. Strange, almost semi-mutated human beings kind of sit looking like with their heads down, begging with their hands out. It's a pretty horrendous place, and sure enough, as people are like ambling around, you've got the likes of people who clearly look like they know their way around the blade, like assassins. They have the turbans on their heads, and really just a pair of eyes, mean-looking eyes, kind of glare back at you. Some of them sort of glint red as they sort of deliberately brush shoulders with you and barge shoulders. You think you see like actual shadows, shadows seem to almost manifest into like a humanoid sort of shape and then just as quickly vanish. Loitering around, you can see illithids like talking and kind of like sputtering at each other as they do. It's like if you were to piss anyone off here, it wouldn't go well. As you sort of walk towards this red tent, which looks a bit like a windmill, it's clearly been designed that this is like the only sort of in and out. Two enormous ogres sort of lean forwards and put up their massive hands, and whoever's in front, they put their hands on your chest and they say, "State your business."
Ooh. I'm going to be sitting at the back for this one.
Yeah. Who's at the front?
I can't remember what our business is.
I look at the Qualandrin and I go, "This is where the soul trade happens. Do you know anything about this?"
She says, yes. She says there are a few stalls here that deal in the selling of souls outside of Avernus. She says, I have heard that Precious Molly seems to have her ear to the ground when it comes to the Moana sleep markets, and she fancies herself as the madame of the markets. She orchestrates things and she oversees the security of this small area. And you get the impression that it is a fairly small area. Like they haven't obviously expanded. There isn't much kind of like wealth, obviously, given the area, but it's like it's an allocated part of the city that's kind of goes unnoticed and uncleaned and unpopulated and unhygienic and everything else that goes with it. She kind of shrugs and she says, "There is not many people with souls that make it down here," she says, "unless they're looking for," and she sort of goes on to list like terrible weapons or hired assassins, and basically it's like the black markets where you can buy anything for the right price.
All right. Duval will step forward and just mention to the ogres, "My friends, we are here for precious molly, if you would make way."
And they sort of look you up and down, and they look at each other, and they chuckle, and they go, "Have an appointment, have ya?" And they kind of laugh to each other, and they say, "Precious Molly." And they said, very well, and they kind of nod, and I will get you to roll me either a persuasion or intimidation.
Ooh. I don't think either of those are great for me. Try intimidation. This is at -1. This is fun. It was so looking like an 18, and then it rolled over. That's a 4, makes it a 3.
Okay. They basically they kind of look you up and down, and you get the impression that were you on your own, they would have sent you away, but they look at the rest of you, and then they look at Amarth, and then they notice that they spot that you're with a drow, and then they almost kind of nod and think, well, maybe, there's a tiefling here, and then there's a shady necro kind of looking guy here, and then there's a drow, and it's particularly the drow that is what sort of almost through fear they kind of take a few steps back, and they go, they say, "She's down the back by the portals."
Appreciated, I think. Anyway, gonna continue on ahead.
So, all right. So, get into marching order for me, please.
I think someone with a bit more charisma can maybe go at the front.
Actually has a decent charisma. We just lost the best. He went off to have fun.
It's just diversified charisma.
Alright, does anyone have better than a +2 charisma?
No.
No. It looks like you're up.
Nope.
You can always help each other, get yourself advantage.
Okay.
That's true.
I guess.
What's around? Cauldron, what do we have?
So what I will do now, Jess, remember one of the characteristics that your character has? I'll get you to roll me those 2 d20s now.
Awesome.
Oh no.
For an 18.
And
That'll be
the
helpful.
second one?
Oh, that is both of them.
Oh,
I
okay.
think.
So you have a 4 and you have an 18 at your disposal. Should you need to use them, with your wizardly powers?
Yeah.
Alright, fantastic. Basically, I guess if you just want to start moving forwards, what you notice is that it seems to be a bit of a quiet day at the Moana Sleep Markets. Looking around, you have there's a drow instantly off to your right that seems to be selling this array of glowing green liquids. They smell vile, like you don't even want to get. They start to sort of steal your breath as you get close to them, and the drow in person, a male drow, seems to have the audacity to still sneer and glare at Qualandrin, and almost seems to completely and utterly ignore the rest of you as you sort of walk past his stall. He does... I'll get you to roll me a perception. Anyone that's sort of paying attention?
Oh yeah, on
Yeah.
high alert here.
I'm paying attention.
Guys, I'm just going AFK for a minute.
Okay.
Okay.
So, Finn, you very much notice he seems to put a couple of vials out of sight from you guys, and appears to be holding something behind his back as he sort of is noticeably moving around to keep whatever it is behind his back shielded from you. It very much puts you on edge. Dorful, you see the same thing. He isn't... With these markets, it's very quiet. It's almost too quiet. Like, people are moving hands and, like, gesturing, but there's hardly any talking. It's almost like people are, like, you know, like like eBay, like a silent auction, as it were. Like, people are communicating to one another. It looks like they're in depth in conversation, but it's uncomfortably quiet. Almost looks like people are arguing, negotiating prices, but perhaps it's done in a sort of telepathic kind of a way, or there's some kind of unspoken capacity. Yeah, none of you are drow, but what you do notice is he quickly flicks a hand, like an array of hand signs to Quelandrin, and she chooses to ignore what he says or what he's conveyed. So that's pretty much the first stall. As you come to the second stall here, it's a similar sort of thing. Here it's just like a butchery selling like preserved body parts. A sort of half alive looking vendor kind of stands, and were it not for the glowing red eyes, you get the impression that this person would literally have died or was dead. They stand there, and again, sort of jaw is slightly askew. Their skin is drawn and withered, and they this one doesn't seem to be offended by your presence, as it were, but it just glares you, and the beady red eyes that glow in the sort of sunken sockets just kind of eyes up all of your body parts as you walk by, and there's like arms and claws and mandibles, like an Umber Hulk head. It sort of sits pride of place. It's basically a very nasty looking sort of I don't know what the right word is, like chop shop basically. As you kind of saunter through, this one over here just seems to be a very strange looking, like you assume underneath all the robes, like the thick, heavy robes, that the form is a female. And she just has a multitude of urns. And then just in the center of the urns, there is you would say like mummified cats and mummified dogs. And there's even your perception's all pretty good, especially you, Dorful. Dorful, you would see that one of them looks like almost like a mummified child that's there, and she sort of stands kind of swaying, and occasionally just a big bellow of this noxious smelling smoke like reels from underneath the markets. The wind is really starting to pick up now, and you get the impression that a lot of people have chosen not to sort of show their wares today. A lot of the stalls are empty, but these are the ones that you've seen so far. Again, it probably pretty much puts you on edge. But sort of as you make your way through to the back, you start to see a character sort of just kind of standing there. Let me just reveal this for you. And as you come closer, you see like these glowing portals, and for you, Amarth, this very much sort of suddenly like rings a few bells. You've never been brave enough to make it right down to the back of the Moana Sleep Markets before, but you have seen the occasional sort of glow. And at the back stall, she seems to be selling the least, but her eyes are looking everywhere, and then suddenly, like a CCTV robot, she just goes zoop and watches you, and then she begins to smile, and just for a moment you think, oh, she looks hideous, and then you look back and it's a young looking human girl of about, you'd guess, between 16 to 18, with jet black hair, pale white skin, and smiles and kind of waves sort of enticingly at you.
I feel like nicknaming her Snow White.
What would you like to do?
Is this Precious Molly?
You've only been given the name. You've never actually, you don't know what she looks like. And like, as you would have done a bit of tentative investigation, no one can actually really ever describe Precious Molly. Like, you'd ask one person and they'll say, oh yeah, Precious Molly, she looks like this, and then you get a different description. She looks like that. So without really asking, you wouldn't know.
Okay.
Does she look like our deepest, darkest desires?
Well, if you're drawn to a dark-haired, like pasty-looking skinned 16 to 18-year-old.
If you have the hots for Snow White.
Yeah, pretty
Girl,
much.
I'm gonna say 18.
She is wearing, and like for a young girl, she's wearing like tight black leathers, like battle armor, like a rogue would wear. And there is a sort of few sort of blades, like throwing knives around like one thigh, as she sort of stands there and beckons you.
Me dragging Amarth along with, because she should be up front, because she supposedly knows this person.
Knows of.
Are you... Basically, in your head, you're just going to hear the words, introduce, please.
I guess Amarth is going to kind of side-eye Finn and then just approach this young girl that we're seeing and say hello.
She says, oh, we're using our voices, our outside voices. And she smiles and she says, very well, very well. Well met. She says, are you buying or are you selling? And she, roll me a insight, both Finn, Duval, and Amarth, as you're right up there.
Where's my answer? There it is. Oh, it's a natural 20, but 14 will do.
So for both Finn and Duval, whilst she looks like a young girl, she moves not like a young girl. To you, Amarth, she seems to just be moving like a normal girl, but to both of you guys, she sort of is almost a bit too fast at times. Almost a bit like she'll quickly change position as though maybe she's uncomfortable or is just trying to restrain her like an inner speed, as it were. And she offers you all a grin, and even from this young child or this young woman, it's a little bit unnerving. And so she says to you, buying or selling?
Possibly buying. What do you have to sell?
She says, well, she says, I'm in charge of the portals here, and I oversee everything that goes within and that comes without. She says, I can find anything that you need for the right price, she says, and that's what brings me here. That's what keeps my markets trading. She says, I have an array of wares, and she sort of points to some very just weird looking things. Like, so one is like a broken wooden thimble, and then one is like some glass beads, and then she has like a couple of shrunken heads, like on a pillow, on these small little pillows. And she says, I can sell you your wildest dreams, should you wish. She says, although I am looking for... And she sort of sizes both Finn, Amarth, and Duval up, as that's all she can see. And she says, I'll give you 800 gold for one of your teeth or some of your hair.
Wow.
And she kind of...
At this stage, I would rather not be the seller. I take it then that you're Precious Molly that we've heard so much about?
She says, that's the name I prefer to go by, yes. And she sort of smiles. She says, we don't get many of you with souls down to this part of the market. Are you looking to perhaps buy and trade? And she seems to be kind of sizing you up now, almost like looking at your soul within. And it's probably more unnerving that it's coming from this sort of youngish looking young woman.
Possibly buy. And Martha's just going to look down at the stuff she's pointed out, especially things like glass beads, just trying to look like she's interested at what's in front of her, and maybe hope the others are asking questions as well.
So whilst at that, she kind of stands a little rigid and curls her hand and points a finger towards you, Amarth, and she says, a scion, a psychic. She says, talking to you using my third eye will be much easier and, let's say, more private. What soul were you after? She says, I have many. I even have a few elves.
More currently interested in what stock is available and what they're worth. I haven't a particular one I was interested in.
She kind of grins. So what you guys see who aren't privy to the conversation is basically Precious Molly just kind of grins and shows some teeth, and she says to you, Amar, she says, I sell devils to demons and demons to devils if the need arises, but everyone needs souls. I have elves, dragonborn, young, old. Perhaps there's a soul in particular you want for me to find, someone you wish to treasure. She sort of smiles and thinks of the right word. Perhaps there's someone you want to treasure, or maybe even gift to a loved one, an enemy of theirs. She says, for the right price, I can find you any soul of any race, of any creed, but I don't do dragons, she says quickly.
Understandable. What stock do you have in devils and demons? This one I say out loud so the others can hear what I'm asking.
She basically holds up, she says, 2 devils, 2 demons.
Their types?
She kind of looks a little bit confused because the soul's sort of... She says a soul can be transformed into anything that you wish within reason. She says, from memory, this one, I believe, was... and she says, a Marilith. And then she looks at the other one. And she says the... devil was what are they called? Balrog? Balor.
Oh, Balor.
So she's
Wow.
So she sort of says they were strong souls and they were worth a pretty penny. And she quickly Googles something.
While Dearest DM Googles,
Yeah.
I'm slightly lost. Our purpose is to investigate, or are we actually destroying something? Or I know that we wanted to know more about this and how it connects to the Raj, but
Well, yeah, that's it. That's entirely up to you. I'm not going to railroad
I'm asking the
you.
team. I'm not asking the DM. Shush. I'm asking our team.
think we were investigating in order to shut this place down. Currently, I am trying to get a Marth, I'm stuttering away today, to get like Precious Molly to be liking us. Some think we're customers, so to strike up basic conversation. Unless anyone has specific questions they want to ask that I can drop in there.
Dolphin's
Well,
having an
Oh.
existential crisis up the back.
Rain been to the Shadowfell, and there was signage pointing to the sleep market. So I guess we could have discussed this coming in. Like, is this area the sleep markets, or does this place contain, say, a portal to the Shadowfell, and that is where the sleep market is? Like, where is the actual sleep market?
I think this is the sleep market.
In that case, there should be some hags involved.
I believe Precious Molly, who we're talking to, is a hag.
Yes, obviously.
Pretty sure she's one.
And Finn, I think you would be the only one to see just down here. There seems to be two illithids either guarding or talking outside this portal here. But you notice that Precious Molly doesn't stray too far from this one up here.
Okay.
She says basically the other soul that she has belongs to a nightmare shepherd. And she sort of waits kind of in anticipation, like, yeah, I got me a nightmare shepherd. She says
Does anybody know what Nightmare Shepherd is?
I will quickly share it with you.
Yeah, let me
Share it.
I'm just going to look that up.
I wasn't gonna go.
Oh,
I was
that's
just gonna
insane.
See if like any of us actually in character would know what that is.
Rain is actually interested in seeing the beta soul because that's very powerful.
I would say that.
I feel
would
like
say
Rain would know this.
Dorful, I would say you would, given your magic sort of magical background, and I would say actually Duval, you would also know what a nightmare shepherd was. You would have heard of them, but it would have been like a devil that you would almost disregard in your head. You'd be like, I wouldn't need to worry about them. They're on distant lands or distant planes, but probably the most.
A Marth.
Sorry.
So I was just going to ask, a Marth would have any idea or not?
I'll get you to roll me a religion.
Oh, crap, okay.
Wow.
Yeah, a Marth knows, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like, you don't really have to search too long in your because you're so worldly wise and well travelled. You've definitely heard of them. You know that they're not entirely used or native or recognised. That's the right word. They're not entirely recognised in these parts, but you know they're quite a formidable creature.
Cool. So I
Yeah,
think
that's
a
pretty
Marth would have a Marth would have immediately reacted and acted a lot more interested at that one.
So that's basically what she sort of relates to. She says devils and demons. It was Balor, Marilith, and the Nightmare Shepherd. She says if that's what you're interested in, or she says, or of course, she says I have an abundance of elves at the moment, she says, and she almost sounds a bit annoyed. Again, this is projected to your head, into your head internally.
I think I would have just responded, well, it sounds like the nightmare is a strong soul indeed. I must ask, I am rather surprised that you're trading so openly, especially in such high quality goods. How have you managed to do so here?
She looks around and just a few people. It's like you addressed the market suddenly. Yeah, are you asking her verbally or mentally?
Mentally.
So mentally, there's a small delay, and then what sort of movement that you could hear around, like in the marketplace, has sort of stopped, as though it was like the worst question. It's like everyone was listening, but no one was listening. So maybe she relayed it to everyone, but everyone sort of stops and starts to pay attention. Assassins who you hadn't quite noticed before just suddenly sort of make themselves prevalent, and they start looking towards Precious Molly. The Illithids that were talking to one another both seem to sort of stop and fold their arms kind of curiously and stroke their tentacles, kind of almost it's as if there was almost going to be a fight kind of happening, and she kind of they kind of stroke their tendrils sort of absently, and she says,
Amath, I'll just say, was Amath kind of continued pretending like this was just an offhanded question and was looking at the stock still, just like trying to pretend, oh yeah, casually, you know.
She says, the city and I have struck a bargain, and those who do not wish to be bothered do not bother me. And she kind of roll me insight, please. And I'll get Duval, and because she says this aloud, I'll get Finn and Duval to roll me insight, and even Dorful.
That could have been worse.
Oh, I didn't
Been advised to back the hell out.
Okay.
Why did mine not come through? There we are.
You definitely get the impression that the way that she said it was intended as a threat, and she seems quite confident, as is, I suppose, everyone who is like either from the Underdark or from the, the darker reaches of Toril, which is the whole world. They all just seem to be. It's an uncomfortable, skittish kind of confidence that they have there, almost like a chained dog. You know what I mean? Like you leave it alone and it's fine, but you get too close or prod it with a stick and it could break the trust a little bit. So she says yes. To reiterate, the city and I have an agreement. It works both ways. And you certainly get the impression she doesn't want to divulge much more.
Amath, based on just her insight, obviously didn't pick up on the threat side of it, just nods and says smart and then continues. So how much are each of these souls?
She says the Balor is 1,300 gold. Which is actually probably quite cheap. She says, likewise, the Marilith. She says, but I have been holding the Nightmare Shepherd for a certain Cambion, which is like a incubus, like a male incubus. And she says, I've been holding this for a certain Cambion, who hasn't showed yet, she says, but we had agreed the price of 2,300 gold pieces for the Nightmare Shepherd.
Amath is going to just have a good nod, and do you mind if I just confer with my accompanys?
She nods and kind of smiles as if that's totally fine.
Cool. I'm gonna turn around to Finn and that and kind of like look at Finn and Duval like wide-eyed, like, what the hell do I do?
Duval responds just by putting his hand on the hilt of his longsword at his side.
What the hell is that meant to mean? Is that some secret smoke signal thing?
He wants to start killing things.
Oh, God.
Dorful picks up on the tone and pulls a tiny Mr. Rossetti from his pocket and puts it on his shoulder.
See, this is what happens when Dad isn't here.
Okay. Rain?
Question.
Yes.
Okay.
Obviously, Amarth is asking, how do you sort of stand out? Generally, how has Rain been behaving in these in the sleep markets? Are you poking around? Are you keeping to yourself? Are you standing with the group or away?
Cauldron are sort of bringing up the rear, letting the others like do the talking, but also checking out the wares. Like he wants to have fellow magician and a local person's perspective because he's quite impressed. Like to have imprisoned the soul of a Baelor is something he's never seen before. So yeah,
Well,
he's quite
You-
that in the civilized world you could still have a soul trade, because that's even like having simple undead minions was such a avant-garde thing for him and his master back in the day.
Now I can't actually remember the name of that little
right,
character.
so
But if the party is feeling bloodthirsty, by all means, that we will have back. If
I'm
we're not
not.
paying attention, but if people start drawing weapons, then he'll help.
I pulled out a
I'm-
tiny troll doll looking thing.
I'm not actually feeling bloodthirsty. I just see this going badly. I feel like we need to pass on this purchase and move on.
Fair enough.
And
Develop
Maybe
actions.
maybe ask the actual question. Has she seen our friend the Raj? We have been looking for him.
is that what you say?
you say that out loud?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. No. You know what? If I'm gonna say it to her, I'm gonna say it to her in her damn head.
Okay. You find
So,
that
sending using message.
it's she sort of there's no mental barriers or wards up that sort of obviously the usual protective ones, but she allows an open link of trade, like exchange of words, and she says, another scion of sorts. She says, more magic based, I think, less well trained. She says, what was your question?
For our friend the Raj, they then are to help us in a task. Have you seen them?
She says, you do well to know that the Raj and I have a understanding, and I have seen him. I frequent the palace when I am summoned, and sometimes when I am not. And she sort of chuckles a little bit and pats, like, almost like a hip, like she's like retaining something. She sort of smiles and says, and that's her response.
So you've been friends with the Raj long? Has this been a long-term relationship, or have you two known each other only a short time?
She says the market has been established, I would say, for 3 years. And then she sort of looks up and down. She says, and Dhukkan Wakharab has long since chosen to overlook my actions here. It's a trade of sorts, she says.
Ah, I see how things work here. And this portal here behind you, where might it lead to? I do love to explore new places.
So she grins and she cricks her knuckles, and again almost seems to take some pride in the fact that she's like standing in front of the portal. She says, I established these portals a while ago, and whilst they can be tuned to take you anywhere, she says, I generate most trade with Avernus. And she sort of gestures to the red-looking one up here, and she says, and the Shadowfell down here. And she sort of gestures to the other one, and the Elithids sort of look to one another and kind of shift uncomfortably, almost as if they're being revealed to be doing something or not doing something. And yeah, there's sudden air of discomfort between the Illithids and her for a moment, and then they kind of relax. But she sort of mentions again that like, and again for the right price, I can attune these portals to take you anywhere, but I can't always guarantee you it would return.
Do we really want him back?
We never found the body.
No,
He's
the body stayed. I
no,
watched the thing. The body
other-
stayed.
Yeah, the other part of the body was never refound.
Yeah, we didn't find whatever. Went. Okay, so I'm just gonna confer back to team, of which some y'all lagging, but anyways.
Duval's just gonna shrug. I don't think there is much here for us, except for a lot of trouble. If we stay here much longer, I want to say it a little bit of revenge, but probably not the smartest thing.
And actually, Duval, I'll get you to roll me insight, just briefly.
Ooh, straight roll. It's up 12.
Okay. Yeah, so your initial instinct is to just attack. You know, your training and what have you is just like kill. And you're like, why don't I even have my blade drawn? And then it's like a good second later, as you look around, you become very much aware why your blade isn't drawn. There's all the bad guys that have chosen to reveal themselves are probably still, there's still probably a whole bunch of bad guys that perhaps have chosen not to reveal themselves. And given that Precious Molly has been so confident and seems to be standing alone, would suggest that she feels she has the upper hand here. It's definitely a fight, but it's you don't know how the fight would go.
Yeah, that's pretty much why he's been staying his hand. He knows that he's not in a good strategic position for this, but he does really want to just throw it all to the wind. But he's not.
That would be one way to.
And everyone roll a new character.
TPK, you will start your life in the Moana sleep markets. Entirely up to you as a group. What would you like to do?
Did Finn say to us that she thinks that Molly has the Raja's soul, or was that just to add a game?
It might have been a slight little nudge that she might have given, saying, I wonder if she has. But then that makes me very curious as to what happens if we go to the palace and go and see what's going on there with the Scala.
Yeah.
Oh, we lost Finn.
Yeah, she'll be back in about 10 minutes or so. She just lost power.
Oh no.
That's unfortunate.
She'll be back soon.
Well, if we take either of those portals, the Baron's probably going to wonder why we didn't turn back up.
Yeah, he just never came back, and he got happily married and settled down with her. And a couple of kids.
20 years later, I wonder whatever happened to those guys.
Yeah,
telling
maybe
the story to the kids, like, oh, what happened to them? He's like, actually, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, maybe rendezvousing back with the Baron and heading up to the Raj might be the next step.
I think so. We can always come back here.
Yeah.
You definitely
Marth
get the impression.
will
Sorry.
I was just going to say, Marth will just turn to Molly and say thank you. Definitely interested in those souls. However, we need to go make sure that we have the funds together, because we thought it wise not to carry it on us.
She nods and says, likewise. And she sort of, again, it's like she's peering into your soul as she sort of says it somewhat hungrily. She says, are you sure you don't want to sell me a lock of your hair? Or please, perhaps a tooth. You have so many.
Not at this time.
And she looks to Finn. It's like it's some kind of urgency. Perhaps also Duval, she sort of looks you up and down. Even a toenail.
Duval doesn't even
Amarth just starts
respond.
shaking her head at them like, don't you dare.
Finn will walk away in tow with us. Or if she
Yeah.
isn't, then Duval's got a hand on the shoulder and guiding her away.
Do Warforged actually have souls in this? Because I'm pretty sure I don't have teeth, hair, or toenails.
You do have a
I'm
soul.
pretty-
Is it Sprocket?
Isn't that how Warforged is made? The soul is transferred from the human body to the built body?
Yeah, so if she would ask for like a splinter, a fair size splinter, as it were, or she hasn't really clocked you, and which is probably a good thing. Really, she hasn't really clocked you. What have you been doing? Obviously, you've just been lurking up there with Rain. Are you been like bodyguarding Rain, or?
I'm just sitting back. I've got, insane passive perception and observant and quite happy to just chill.
So in the time that you have been sort of up there, at least let's say 2 people have come up to Rain and sort of semi-whispered, how much for your Warforge? And then the other one said, is this yours? And they point at you, Dorful. But then Rain or yourself, like, depending on how do you sort of react to that?
How far does my head rotate without my body moving?
Just normal human parameters.
Damn it, I was hoping to go like 270 degrees just to stare at one of them.
That would be probably more freaky than the whole of the Moana Sleep Markets, to be honest.
I was going to do that, like, what's your best prey?
You could be like, he's my human and I'm selling him. Or
Yes.
Oh my god, what did I miss?
Just want to find out what I'm worth if I'm selling this. Make me an offer that looks appealing.
He's sort of, both of them, the minute you would speak, he says, oh, you let him speak, and then realise that they've got the wrong end of the stick and like vanish, like very deftly just kind of disappear or chameleon into nothing. It's unnerving, that these people would choose to reveal like for a trade, and they're looking around, and then they will just realise that the conversation didn't go the way that they thought, and they would kind of bamf out of there a bit again. When they realised that you were your own person and that you weren't like a commodity, because obviously everyone just assumes that everything is for sale there.
Yeah. Like, after they disappeared, Dorful looks over at Rain, like, a little disappointedly, and then has lightning crackle over his body, intimidatingly. It's like, what a waste.
That's really cool. So the wind is certainly picked up now. Welcome back, Hannah. It's good to have you back.
Howdy.
Yeah, the wind is picking up, and whilst you're still protected, the canopies are really buffering and bellowing. All the awnings and that sort of thing are, like I say, likewise sort of being interrupted by the wind. A little bit of dust every now and again licks up off of the cobbled floors. And yeah, you find yourself somewhat awkwardly standing in what is pretty much the most dangerous pit of Dhukkan Wakharab. And like I said, there's liches kind of glance over to you, interesting looking characters who you can't even quite make out. No devils or demons quite yet, but the portal does seem to sort of glow ominously. What's the consensus? I'm going to get myself a drink. If anyone wants to just take a couple of minutes to get a drink or whatever.
Drink.
Yeah, good call.
I'm just going to grab a glass of water. Honest. See you in a
Yes,
bit.
sir.
What did I miss in 5 minutes?
Rain was trying to tell me.
Not surprised, but really.
We just told Molly that we need to go and collect income. We're interested in the souls, but we need to go and collect our income as we don't carry it on us as a way to kind of leave. And then we'll collect in the others.
Wouldn't you be more interested in how she keeps getting into the Raj's palace?
Well, the conversation was starting to go bad. So we thought best to go and have a look at the palace itself first and see what's going on there.
Rain doesn't know the Raj because he joined the party later. So what is your relationship with him? Are we trying to rob
Also
him?
doesn't know the Raj.
I think we actually. No, our relationship with Raj is the entire one. You know that we had the voice come into our heads, basically when we met you. He has our friend Escala. It's the only reason we're looking for him.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Papa, can you see me?
I thought the whole point of coming here was to rescue Captain Escala. Like, that is the entire point, and then Rain wanted to do something about the necropolis. That was like it.
Yep.
But we have been roped into destroying this market, the slave trade.
I mean, we could just burn it to the ground, but I feel like that's not going to That's not going to solve the issue. I feel like starting with getting the Raj's soul back would solve the issue, but we got to figure out a way to do it that won't piss Precious Molly off.
What is up with his soul? Why does she have it?
Actually, sure, why she has the Raj's soul. We might have to ask him.
I guess you'll find out from him as to what's going on there. So you may want to ask people around him, you know.
That everyone thinks he's not quite there and absent all the time.
You know, maybe like his cook, his food taster. There's people around who would have noticed things going weird, and you can get information from various other sources.
Ah.
So he's still active, ruling the place. His soul is missing. Is that what's happening? Or is he like in a coma, or has he been physically restrained like I was in a jewel somewhere? What exactly do you mean by his soul?
I think at this stage it's a matter of everyone seems to like him. No one really often gets to see him, he's barely seen. And then based on what Precious Molly said and how she acted, I expect she may be holding her soul. His soul, Araja's soul. I don't know for sure. So Cam said that we should go to the palace to see what's going on there first. Right?
Yeah, if she's got some semblance of the Raj's soul, then who the heck told us to come to the palace to come and grab a Scala? So it could be interesting. We could be walking into a trap.
What's new?
Yeah. Actually, we could do it. I know it's always bad to split the party. It's always bad to split the party. Maybe we could put some of the more charismatic people and less stealthy in first to see the Rajas, and then maybe have a secondary sneaky group that goes in unawares and maybe try and find something out, or if it is a trap, that maybe we've got something to leverage. Maybe.
Is the Baron finished?
Oh, with that 8 roll,
It's up to
he's
you
finished.
guys. Depends what you're doing.
I assume you
Like,
would
what
have...
time is it?
Yeah.
We've been here probably a good couple of hours.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I'm thinking at least it's a 2 hours, so maybe about 2 a.m., give or take.
Well, I would say that it's been a long day. You have literally come straight off the boat and jumped into an opium den and headed to a rather dodgy black market. It is late and you are not feeling very well rested now. But that's not...
Shall we go back to our ships and have a nap?
Sounds good.
And try not to disturb the Baron wherever he is.
Yeah, like one of the like the captain's quarters, because like got a sock on the door.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I can imagine him being like, I'm a captain, you know. This is my ship.
Does Amarth have a house here, or
resident?
She doesn't know. She is just. You're a week or so, and it's only been your glibness and your pleasant demeanour that's managed to get you sort of room and rent. You've got a bit of money behind you, to pay for room and rent so far, but a free night where you don't have to stay in like a pokey, cheap opium den would probably be a welcome reprieve for you.
Okay.
I call our ship
To,
station.
So, shall we break for the evening and agree to meet up at dawn somewhere, perhaps at a nice tavern for breakfast? Or shall I meet you at the ships, perhaps? I have a mind to take Qualdrin, and we can spend a night at like one of the uptown hotels or something, and I can fill her in on what we've been accomplishing back at Saltport and see if she's, interested in a medium-term stay.
Okay, yeah, that sounds
I need
good.
to stop giving
Sounds
you
like a
money.
plan.
So,
I'm sorry, what? I can hear you over the sound of all these 6-level spells.
Nice.
I will build her up. Actually, unless you want to build her, how about that? That would be nice, wouldn't it? That would be really generous. You can. She has to be a drow. She has to be 100% wizard or sorcerer. Probably wizard. Build her as you wish. That's homework.
Ooh. Oh gosh, have you seen how many characters I've been building now?
All right, very well. So I'll take you back to the other map. Is that what you're deciding to do? So you're both all going to reconvene at the ship?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, that's...
We'll see you back at the ship in the morning then.
Where should I build this character? In Iron Bear or in Ryan? Or...
in
Ring of Bones.
Ring of Bones.
Oh, yes, of course.
It was
Here we go.
So you all spend the night basically in, I wouldn't say it's luxurious quarters, but you certainly rest well. You basically all benefit from a long rest, meta speaking, and rumors sort of get back to you in the morning. Sorry. Is someone going to say something?
No, but I'm guessing aid probably would have stopped working by now. I think I lost my 5 temp hit points.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, yes.
A brand new day. So, sort of mutterings, as it were, from the docks below, or through your, as you sort of come around during the docks, is that these slaves are, well, the recently released people, should I say, that currently are starting to sort of look for work or have, like, done a bit of pickpocketing, and they're starting to bring you the name of the Kakusurata down a little bit, as well as the obviously the name of the obsidian python. But it's almost mentioned in mirth at the moment. But some of the things you're hearing are like, oh dear, they're drawing you guys a little bit of attention. So it's the morning. You're wide-eyed and bushy-tailed. Is there anything particular you'd like to do?
I want to go put the fear and the god in the people on the obsidian python.
Yeah, do some captaining.
Okay.
But I feel like I need the Baron for that.
Yeah, is he back or is he still busy?
No. If the Baron is still in the cabin, I am going to bang on the door and tell him to get up. I'm not going to open
Bang
it.
through the door.
Bang on the door.
Yes, Baron's up. He's around. He's already, having a morning rum and coffee. Going, what's up? What's the matter?
Caribbean breakfast.
It's the only way to do it.
How do you like your eggs? Yes. Your tiefling lover is still very much clingy. She's quite clingy, and she's like, again, kind of thing. Like you're pretty knackered. You, I would say, still benefit from a long rest, although there probably wasn't much resting towards the end of the night. Roll me a perception.
A perception, sure.
Yep.
Hold a sec.
Everything's fine.
I've got the screen open. I'll actually see what result I got.
7.
It was a 7.
Well, I still haven't got the screen open, but okay, sure.
Yeah. So no, as far as you're concerned, everything's fine. She's actually very into you. I won't go into details because that was all fade to black. But yeah, you had a good night, and there's a spring in your step, and the Baron is smiling even more so than perhaps than usual today.
All right, yeah. So, what do you want? You want to scare the other crew?
We'll scare them straight and remind them that
Well,
we have certain standards if they are to remain with us.
well, man, I think that there's a couple of ways you could handle this. Why don't we try the honey way first before you try the vinegar?
If that is the way you wish to play it, so be it.
Okay, let's go. So, we head to the other ship.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm just gonna find where my token is. May I please have my token, dearest DM?
It's still there, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it is. Just so tiny, couldn't see it.
No, I can't see my token at all.
Can you see it
Yes,
now?
down here
See it.
by Colandrin. So position yourselves where you would roughly be. Obviously, the Baron and Finn are going to hop onto the other ship.
Did we put somebody in charge? Like, is there someone that
Yes.
speaks to the crew?
Yes.
There's a default person.
Right.
Yes. With literally, I will find the damn name in a minute.
Instant default person. Make yourself known.
Sedge.
Sedge. That's right.
No, that's right. Wait, wasn't it Sedge and Budge?
Budge will be the next captain that you
Ah.
And then there'll
Sed-
be Wedge, Fidge,
Edge.
Edge.
Said, we're having a bit of a problem here. Word's getting back to us that some of the crew are. Oh, my accent's changing again. Some of the crew are garnering us on attention that we're not wanting.
He says, "Oh, is that so? I can only control them as best I can. They're not hardened sailors. They are most usually unfortunates, half of which I don't know them, but very well. I'll do what I
Well-
can to pull them into shape for you, sir."
Well, why don't you tell me who's the biggest troublemaker?
Well, there's Catan, but I wouldn't mess with Catan.
Oh, I'm not asking you to mess with him. I'm going to have a chat with him.
He chuckles. He goes, I reckon if you put a right word towards our friend Catan, perhaps people might sort of see them to behave themselves. So you can't blame them, sir. They've been locked at thought they were going to die on a desert island somewhere, and now they've got their newfound freedom. I know where you're coming from. Trust me though, my boys, I've managed to whip most into shape. But yeah, Catan, he's a bit of an interesting character, that one.
Okay.
So Catan obviously will want to be staying on the ship. So probably you have a good guess who Catan is. He's as tall and as broad as a half orc, quite muscular, and has very strong like Chelton features. So he has dark sort of ebony skin, and a shaved head with like a big scar that sort of runs down from the top of his head, like right down to the back of his neck. He's quite easy to pick.
All right, so the Baron walks straight up to him.
Okay, well, he sort of stands tall, and he does stand slightly taller than the Baron, and sort of like kind of sneers and shows his like yellow teeth. He goes, "Won't go on."
And I said to him, I suggest that you listen to everything I say and obey everything that I tell you to do for the next 8 hours. And then I'll cast suggestion on him.
Okay.
Really, man? Of all the ways to go about it.
Well, let's just cut to the chase. So that's a DC 15 wisdom saving throw.
Okay.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Alright, well, let's carry on.
Well, you don't know what his wisdom is like. No,
I'll know if he's affected or
not.
not.
Yeah, meets it, beats it. Yeah.
I got him. And the reason why I suggest this to you is that you don't know who you're messing with. And I'm not talking about me. But you and let's say some of your boys, have garnered the attention of the authorities. And I don't know if you want to go back into custodial, how do you put it?
Care.
Yeah, care. Custodial care. We're offering you a new chance here. And you seem hell-bent on fucking it up. Now, we can do these a couple of ways. You can back down. Right? And, I don't know, show leadership qualities. And do the right thing. And then maybe you can stay with us and, profit. Or two, you can just get off the fucking boat. It's our boat. You can get off. No one's going to stop you. And you can take your chances with the authorities. Or three, and then this time I'll use prestidigitation and minor illusion, make my eyes look red. Or I can take you to the night markets. To those who like to trade in souls. And maybe I will trade your soul in just to recompense me for the trouble you are causing.
He draws a blank, and genuinely, he's never heard of the sleep markets, and he just goes... But he just sees... Just roll me a persuasion or intimidation with advantage, because you are standing with Finn. It's going to pretty much go in your favour, but you just can't fudge it. Oh my god! I mean, you've never seen a grown man fucking go weak at the knees, but he takes a step back and he goes, I always thought this of you, man. I see you, I reckon you were a soul trader. No pun intended there, actually. And he says, very well. I see the error in me ways. I apologize, man.
I don't want to have this talk with you again. Because we're not going to have this talk again. This is your only chance.
He goes, I'm have a word with me friends. I back down, man.
Excellent.
You absolutely decimated him on the intimidation roll. That's probably even better than the suggestion, because after 8 hours you'd be like, hang on, I'll go back to being a dick again, but...
No, the suggestion was to get him to do things that would make him understand that he wasn't in control.
Right.
Nothing dangerous, but I would get him to walk to this place, and then, get him to be a table for me, and a whole bunch of other things.
Be a table for me?
Yeah. I had ideas.
I should have called him IKEA.
That's true. IKEA, that's Swedish for loser.
Yeah, I don't think IKEA do leather-bound human tables now, but hey.
They do leather tables, so it's not too far off.
This one's got tattoos. Yeah, nicely handled. Yeah, like not as a DM, I'm glad you did that because it could have gotten out of hand if you just like, yeah, whatever, be free, my people. No, you did. You made the right choice there, and shall be maybe rewarded for your actions.
Well, if that didn't work, I'm just going to Eldritch Blast him off the boat.
Oh yeah.
That knocks him 10 foot back every time I hit him with it. So that was D. There was still a step C.
Option E.
E would unload every spell, but you know, let's
F.
let's make our way there.
Option F.
Nicely done. All right. Well, yes, you definitely seem to pull them back in line, and yeah, we'll see how that transpires for you. I believe you had the intentions of heading to the palace, although I could be wrong. I'm just going to give you a minute to talk about it. I've just got to have a little break. I'll be a moment. One moment.
All right.
So
I'm also playing for about 1 minute. I'll be back.
Baron's the Intimidator. Love it.
Yeah, what did you think of the idea if we have team knocks on the door and team goes in the back?
What, the palace?
Yeah.
I literally was saying that the other day. But I was using invisibility, I gotta say.
Oh, it's been a long rest, so I got a spell or two. Let me see what I have.
I think Dorful had invisibility.
Yep. I think so.
So maybe part of Team Backdoor
What was that?
should be invisible.
Did I come back at the wrong time?
Nope, that's what we're going with.
We're gonna go with tag teaming, and we're gonna have a front door and a back door.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Who's in Team Backdoor, just so I know?
I know, what were you doing last night?
Team
I'm just gonna
Backdoor.
rest my feet on this human table over here for a while.
So who's Team Backdoor again?
My suggestion would be probably Dorful, Duval, and I'm feeling a Marth, and then maybe, and if anyone's to go invisible, maybe Duval, and then it'll be myself, Baron, and Rain for the front door.
Yeah, my armor is ridiculously bad. I've stealth with disadvantage, so I might be on front door duty.
Oh, okay. Alright, good point. Stealthy people. For fuck's sake.
Hey, Deval, could I see those boots?
Anyone got a +4 stealth?
Well, last time this happened.
I have +3.
Hey, it worked out alright. Let me
Ooh.
see if how many infusions do I have active at the moment.
I've got a +3 to stealth too, but yeah.
Not using that one, not using that one, not using that one. Yep, cool. Hey, Deval, give me your shoes.
Uh-oh. Just gonna take them off and hand them over.
Could be tanky people, and I think
Look, rolling around in my hands, like hand and back, looking a bit shinier for some reason.
Cornelia has a support spell or two, like she can cast Hypnotic Pattern. So front door people, you know. And then meanwhile, Arain has some firepower with Fireball, so he can support the sneaky people if it comes to a fight.
Nice.
Maybe you as the invisible person. Say again, Marth?
A Marth can disguise herself if needed.
As what?
Anything. She's got disguise self.
Huh.
I feel like you might be good for a backdoor one still. Because imagine if we didn't find the Raj, but if we found something that we knew what he looked like.
No, that's what I mean. I've got a +6 to stealth, and I've got a few.
Oh yeah, you're definitely backdoor girl.
Okay, how about Team Sneaky and Team Not Sneaky? How's that sound?
Nah.
Less innuendo. Less.
So much less fun.
So, are you wanting more innuendo or less innuendo?
Like 30% more.
Oh god.
good level.
See, plus-
Now that I can breathe again.
Okay,
what else am I
so
attacking
Team
here?
Sneaky, we have Amarth. Is Deval getting some boots?
Sneak.
Yep, Deval has some boots.
Sorry about that. Okay, I'm back.
What kind of boots?
Alright,
Boots of
hands-
Goblin kind.
Call out for Team Sneaky.
Me.
Ooh, shit, I've also got disadvantage on stealth.
So maybe you can give him the boots and you can come through. What did we call it again?
Team front door?
No, not front door.
Team not sneaky.
Team not sneaky, yes.
Alright, I can
Team
do that.
backdoor.
Who needs to possibly...
Rain, we just assumed that Quallen would stick with you, so they'll be on Team Sneaky Sneak.
Okay, sure.
Nope. Who possibly needs to turn invisible?
Rain?
I have invisibility, neither does Cormia, I don't think.
No, but if I toss you my homunculus, I can cast it as a touch spell from, like, range.
Ah. Okay. Well, I don't know. Because invisibility is sort of like contingent on us like needing advantage for stealth or needing to hide. Or if a Marth can impersonate someone, then like those of us who cannot impersonate anyone can be turned invisible.
I was thinking if we have at least one person invisible, then it gives us an advantage. But speaking of Team Sneaky Sneak, can the 3 people in Team Sneaky Sneak roll a d20?
Ooh.
It's nothing drastic.
What was I, Team Sneaky Sneak?
You are.
You are now.
Damn, okay. Uh-oh. Rolling the dice. Oh,
Okay.
Okay.
Deval, you are now in charge of Team Sneaky Sneak.
Oh, crap. I've like got the lowest. I've got the lowest dex modifier out of everyone.
Awesome.
Okay.
Do we have sending stones?
I don't think so.
No, I can.
I'm
I can
not-
cast.
no.
I can cast message. So I can cast message to Deval.
Cool. Alright, I'm going to hand the homunculus over to Deval.
Thank you. I might need that.
Because, like, at worst, just, like, you know, communicate
Take
back
it.
to Finn to cast invisibility. I'll do it and just hit somebody with the homunculus.
Ah,
I can swap my familiar. I give you my Montgomery M. Montgomery, my monocled owl. So we have two-way kind of, at least visual communication.
Oh, yeah, cool. That'll work.
Does your owl have a bow tie?
He has a monocle and a top hat, but I guess he could have a bow tie.
He will when you get him back.
I definitely think it needs a bow tie.
Okay,
Like-
so
With that explanation, he's coming back with the bow tie after this mission.
We will commission him a bow tie.
Yes, indeed. The finest Calimport silk bow tie.
Indeed.
so
Nothing
Team
less.
Sneaky.
all right. Team Sneaky is
Okay.
ready to go.
Okay, dearest DM,
Oh yes.
our Team Sneaky is. So we've got Deval, Amarth, and Rain, as well as I can't pronounce it still. Rain's beloved intern,
Oh yeah, Calandrin.
Calandrin.
Yeah.
I've made her in Beyond 20 away.
Oh, you have made her already.
Cool.
Yeah, Qualendrin Arabar with level 6, right?
Yeah. Awesome. Alright,
And so then we've got Baron, Finn, and Dorful on front door. On Team Not Sneaky.
That's
Baron. Oh man. Right. And so what is?
We know it's all good.
Okay, so you're making your way up through towards the palace, or you're
Yes, we are.
Right. Okay.
absolutely.
Of
Heading
which
up
we
toward-
have Team Sneaky behind about 20, 30 feet behind, sneaking.
Mhm.
Okay.
We're going to be looking for slightly less obvious routes of passage into the palace.
Rightio. less obvious. Right, so well, let's all start with you rolling me stealth.
Actually, you know what? Colnia has invisibility because I realized I gave her acid arrow twice. So
Oh.
she now has invisibility. Why not?
Dick.
Okay.
Well, too late. You've got a homunculus. Fucking communicate if you need.
Yeah, it's good to have.
Oh, yeah.
Let's
I will
see.
need it at some point.
What do I have? Heat metal, invisibility, levitate, scorching ray, shatter, spider climb.
How many people can you make invisible? Because she could upcast it and hit 2 people. Can you hit another 2 people? Because we could all be.
I can cast it twice. Oh wait, no, it's concentration, isn't it?
It
Yeah.
is.
Nope,
So
I can cast it once.
Up to 3 of us can be invisible, which is still really good.
That's the entire team sneaky.
Oh,
Baron?
damn it. Levitate is also concentration.
Yep. What's
Are
up?
you happy to be in charge of Team Not Sneaky?
In charge? How about a co-sponsoring member?
Oh my god.
Hey, I don't know what the actual plan is. So I'm just we go in and we talk to someone and say, hey, give it. I don't know.
We're looking for Raj because we're trying to find Ascala because he said that Ascala was with him.
Okay.
She has been injured from an attack from the Shrieking Sails. And
Okay.
so we're here basically. It's not quite a rescue mission. I guess retrieve would be closer at this point, but we don't know what we're walking into because the Raj, we are assuming, doesn't have a soul.
Of course, sure.
So, as far as I can tell from the current plan, the front door team is more like recon and doing things properly. Backdoor team's just seeing what they can drum up.
Mm-hmm. See what's behind closed doors, but still stay close enough to the main team that if something does go wrong, that we can get into it.
Okay, that makes sense. So you're basically splitting the party and heading out. Bit of sneaky up the front.
Mm-hmm. And I think at the very last moment, maybe if we can get eyes on the palace first and have a look around, and then trigger the invisibility for Team Sneaky.
Yeah. Just a question.
Mm-hmm.
So was the invisibility able to cover 4 people there? Or 3?
I think we had 3 covered.
Okay.
Oh, Team Sneaky is 4.
Yeah, because we've got Quinn with us as well.
Okay.
So
4 in Team Sneaky and 3 in Not Sneaky.
Uh-huh.
I can cast Disguise Stealth on myself and possibly look like I'm a guard there if needed. So
That would help.
yeah.
That would mean you can open doors for them while they walk behind, so it doesn't look like it's just opening by itself.
Yeah. And it
Have
lasts
you?
an hour.
Have
I just
you?
need to know whether or not
Have you? Have you done some information gathering? Do you actually know what the guards look like, or their names, or even how they talk?
I was wanting to ask, has Amath done that yet, or
Amath would have seen the guards definitely around. They're quite prominent. In fact, they're quite sort of. Some of them are quite sort of garish. So they are generally obviously look like armored sort of civilians to some extent. So they have a uniform, which has tendency to be sort of like the colours of Kosovo. So we're talking reds and yellows and oranges, and most of them seem to wear like pauldrons, but otherwise a lot of the time they don't. They just seem to be in like free flowing robes. But probably the best way to tell is the swords, the scimitars that they have, and so yes, you have seen them. As far as how they sound, well, you haven't really talked to any of them. They are around, but they're not in any real presence. You know what I mean? As it were.
okay. As we get close to the palace, then, or when Sneaky go to start sneaking, Amath will disguise herself and kind of just make herself look like one of the generic guards. Just throw together a look face on them, make it look like they're wearing the uniform and the sword. And she'll also make it look like she's got a bandage around her neck to explain why she's possibly going to have a weird voice or not talk.
Okay. So you guys have done me a stealth roll. Can I say? I don't really know if I can say that you give each other advantage, because I just don't see how that would work. So yeah, just independent stealth rolls from the first sort of tip of the arrow, as it were, the first insurgents. Duval, going well for you there.
You may want to do it as a group check. You know what I mean?
Deval's. They've all got advantage if they're invisible.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. Then you definitely do. Yeah.
A mask.
No, a master
I guess.
disguiser.
Well, would yours be performance?
Yeah, only if well, she hasn't met anyone yet, but it could
fair.
come up.
I kind of like blend in kind of thing. I look like I'm meant to be there.
So yeah, how do I do a group roll, Wayne? I'm not sure.
Get them all to roll and then add it up and divide by the number of people on.
Oh,
So
okay.
and then that's the DC, or that's the average roll, and then you say and you in your mind you know what the DC is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So far it's 13 plus 6 divided by 2, and then you add the other ones. Well, this is or then divide by 3 divide by 4, depending how many people are rolling.
So that's Deval. That's Amath is walking. Rain
So, us.
and
The two.
Sabal and Queen got advantage then because they're
Yeah.
invisible.
Duval, you get advantage because you are invisible.
Okay, let's try 19
That's
instead.
very nice.
That's much better.
Wow.
So it's 23 plus 19 plus 13. Divide by 3, I guess.
There's one more, isn't there?
Yeah, there's.
Walls is crit, and I'm rolling for me. And I just got a 17, I think.
Ah.
Nice.
Plus 17 divided by 4.
Well, that's very good. So you're able to. I will now get Amath to roll me a performance.
Perky throat.
Just not rolling well.
It's
You got to sell it now.
It's more of deception. Good performance
Ah.
if you're going to play an instrument. But I think the plus is probably the same.
Yeah. It was just more how you carry yourself, so I suppose that is deception, but that's fine. So you're not actually spoken to anyone yet, but you know, it would be difficult for someone to walk like they were a male guard if they were a female waitress or something, do you know what I mean? So that's just what I was just checking there. But yeah, no, everyone seems to be fucking asleep anyway, so you absolutely, I mean, you ace it. So what are your plans? You're planning on heading straight up to the palace?
Yeah, we were going to try and go around in a separate door from the others and try and sneak around a bit. That's the plan.
Okay.
Yeah, if we can see the lay of the land. We want to either scale a wall or get in to a place that we probably shouldn't be getting access to, so we can just try and scope it out, see if we can gather a bit of information.
All right. Well, I can do that for you. It's sometimes hard for me to see if I've got Fog of War on or not. I don't think I do. So let me I'm just adjusting the map.
I think you should be able to change your transparency for the DM overlays and change the color of it.
Oh,
Then
okay.
you would be able to see.
Oh yeah, I do have. Yeah, I do have it. So currently, what you can see. Let me just do. Here's reveal. It's gonna be. Oh yeah, and it's rendered nicely as well. I will transfer you over. The problem is your characters are all half size, which is not great for me. Full size. Here you are full size. I'll just grab you. So we are talking. It's. I just don't get a break here. Duval, Amath. Who's in the first team, please? Just because I'm on a different thing and I can't read.
Deval, Amarth, Rain, and
Fun.
Intern.
It's like me.
Cool. I will just shift you to the palace. Okay. So annoyingly, it's revealed everything the wrong way around.
That's right.
Basically,
Just re-enable your fog of war.
reset fog. Oh yeah. And I'm literally only doing this because. All right.
I can't see anything.
Well, that's good.
No, that
It would be. Oh my god, it's so frustrating. Oh my life. Like. Reveal areas. Right, let's just do it perimeter at a time. This perimeter. This perimeter. This perimeter. And this perimeter. And
Because, Simon,
yeah.
you know the fog of war option, there's like a little button that shows like lines and dots. And allows you to make weird shapes and to remove the fog of war.
Yeah, the polygon reveal.
Yeah,
this-
and you hold shift and it snaps to your map. Like the
Oh.
grid line's a bit easier.
Oh, real?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know that, and so what it was doing is it was trying to do it internally anyway, and I needed to do it externally anyway. So, but that's pretty much what you can kind of gather as you're sort of parading the palace. You do very well, and on your journey round, you definitely see that it is quite heavily guarded, more so close to the walls. Obviously they have down here the main entrance.
Okay.
And I will get you to roll me, each of you roll me investigation.
Ooh. Now that I can do. Oh, unless I roll shit. Okay, cool. So I got the team to back me up.
That's very nice. So as you're sneaking around, what you do notice, just by this corner here, is like an old iron gate. And it's been sort of heavily overgrown with plants and vegetation. But it seems to be sort of rusted. And the rest of the wall is quite high and could be scaled. And what you see, obviously, is like palm trees. And you hear the sound of like hustle and bustle of a palace. It's definitely quite busy. People laughing and having a good time. There's lots of fountains by the sound of things. But yeah, both, let's say it was Finn and Amarth become aware of this sort of rickety looking gate. It's almost been, it looks like it's being held up by vegetation.
Nice. So it could be a quick in. How tall are the walls around the palace at the moment as well?
They're a good, they range between like, it's about 30 to 40 foot.
Okay, cool.
So like
so maybe 30 around the back here, and maybe 40 so like on the palace proper.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's the building itself still obviously stands taller than the walls, but they are quite well fortified. You do notice that in each corner is a longbowman. Like, looks like militia, looks like a military guard, but they certainly haven't noticed you yet.
Cool. Invisible is working.
It's very working, yeah.
All right. Before we try to kind of liberate that door. The longbowman that's closest to us, I might try to distract him a little bit. I don't know. What do you guys think, or should we just try to be super slow and careful with removing the vegetation to sneak on in?
I would say slow and careful to remove vegetation, and then that way if they do see anything, they just see a guard trying to come. Whereas if
Okay.
you try to distract them, it's going to alert them to something.
That's right. You're still walking around dressed as the guards. Like, good point.
Yeah,
Very good.
I have an hour of it. I also can do firebolt, which can probably clear away some of the vegetation.
Like a firework.
Firebolt, yeah. Firebolt. Fireball! Firebolt. Just a little.
Okay, very well.
Right.
So, if that's what you intend to do, please just move your tokens.
Cool.
Duval, were you going to cause a distraction, sorry, or?
Not at the moment. Where is the gate located? Which spot is
Just
it?
in this corner here, where are Martha's?
Whoops! She's just disappeared. Where is she gone?
Over here.
Oh, down there. Okay.
Right.
I'll move back around. Before she pops in, I might just, if I can see through that gate, I might do my little trick of manifesting an echo on the other side and then basically teleport myself to that position straight away while I'm invisible, just to see if I can get a lay of the land, if there's anything inside that we might need to be aware of.
All right, very well. So you just kind of basically switch positions with your echo and
Duoval.
feel free to bamf yourself into there.
So just be on the other side of the, still invisible, but just on the other side of the gate, just to see what's.
Now, what
I
you
don't
s-
even know you've done this.
There's the invisible thing.
You basically find yourself in a very, very lavish tropical garden. It's perhaps more like a kitchen garden, as much as they're growing herbs and vegetables, perhaps for the palace to consume. So opulent. Everywhere you look around you, there's sandstone, like pillars, and they all have these like red rubies encrusted into the sandstone. Each one is about the size of your thumbnail, and in the morning sun, they sort of reflect and almost look like flames, as if the columns are on fire. As you get close to the palace, the heat that's radiating from the sandstone is quite noticeable.
Nice. Okay. If it's looking all clear and I can't see any guards, or if you want me to roll perception to see if there's any guards apart from the longbow that is probably on that corner,
That's right.
then I might just kind of whisper through to Amar just to say, "Coast is clear."
So you are outside. Obviously, yes, you can see the longbow man, the archer, but he's now looking the other way. So he's looking out, obviously, from the palace proper, and there's no one there yet, and you can't see or hear anyone.
Okay, cool. Yep. So I'll give Amar the all clear. Start maybe cutting away some of that stuff.
On Martha's blind sight, would that mean she can actually see them? Being invisible?
Ooh.
So yeah, with blind sight, you it's 30 foot, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but then it's like noise dependent or.
So you would see them? No, okay. You would perceive them each time they were like walking, but obviously it's dependent on surfaces and that kind of thing. So currently, you can't pick one particular person because there's so many patrons in the palace that there's no one that really stands out. You aren't getting any tremors that suggests anyone's nearby at the moment.
Just be careful. Tremor sense is different to blind sense. Blind sense means you can see without eyes. Tremor sense is one where it's about movement.
Ah, that's right. Yeah. Blind sight.
Yeah, it's like oozes don't have eyes, but they can see things because they have blind sense.
Yeah, so that's done through feel, though, isn't it?
No.
Ah.
Like elementals can't feel anything, but they have blind. They don't have eyes either.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you don't really feel any tremors as such, but yeah, yes, you can see him technically, I suppose. Then I
Okay, cool.
need to do my homework on that
good.
one.
Less likely to freak out when random reports.
Nice.
So the vines look very thick on the iron gate, and like I say, they almost look stronger than the gate itself. But you reckon probably with a little bit of a bit of sharp blade work or a bit of strength, perhaps you could sort of pull it to, and almost cut yourself a new gate, as it were, or a new entrance. Because obviously you're in Duval, but the rest of you are stuck on the outside.
I'll definitely help with cutting it away with my longsword, just to keep it quiet and keep it as low key as possible.
Okay, nice. And now we'll go back to the rest of you guys. How are you? Are you following behind, or what's your plan here? Or are you still holding back?
No, I don't think we need to hold back at all. Because
I thought we were going through the front door.
we're going to the front door. Even then, they can use this.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
if we open a door, they could sneak in behind us, sort of thing. I don't know.
So you're approaching through the front down here.
Yep.
Sure, why not?
All right, no worries. Let me grab you.
Sounds like echo recording.
Yeah, it was like the other one for that is Tremor Sense, where
That's,
you've watched Avatar The Last Airbender.
Yeah, that's where I was getting confused. Yeah.
Yeah, like Toph uses Tremor Sense, and like Daredevil from the
Ah, yeah.
was it Ben Affleck?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Ben Affleck movie where like he's in the rain. That's the best one for one sense.
Or the TV show Daredevil.
Yeah, but it didn't show it like.
He did. He would be fighting and there would be. It was very similar to echolocation.
Huh. Don't remember that coming up in the show. I should watch it again.
Mm. Okay, I will. Yeah, I'll have to do my research. I'm just all the back end stuff really throws me out, and I panic because
It's all good. We got your back.
That's right. You're good.
So, you're not used to them coming from the back end, or
No. Nice.
Thought we stopped that.
I think that's
Called
everyone.
them like Team Pornhub and Team RedTube or something ridiculous like that.
Oh,
just get rid of all ambiguity.
So, as you guys, as it's the other team is Baron, Finn, and Dorfel. I'm not missing anyone, am I? No.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you
Baron,
guys.
Finn, Dorfel.
You guys approach the front and you're obviously instantly stopped. Now, what you find, the two main guards at the front door are these very alarming looking Efreeti. They sort of stand bare-chested, red skin, and let me just try and describe them for you. So they have small sort of little kind of demonic horns poking out. They dressed in their how can I say it? They dressed arrogantly. Like they don't seem to be wearing armor. It's like their blades at their side are doing all the boasting. They have scars in multiple places across their sort of dark red skin and adorned in gold and bronze. They wear the colors of Kosov. And they both sort of hold their enormous swords and sort of block your path and say, "What business have you here?"
Right. So the Baron goes, and he'll say this in Primordial, so he'll go with the language of fire. And he'll go, "Greetings, noble warriors and spirits of flame. We think we've been invited here to find out, to inquire about a comrade of ours who may have, let's just say, washed up into the palace's tender care.
They look at one another and they sort of question each other, and then they go, "Ah, you're friends of the captain. We'd heard something along the lines that we were expecting guests, and what names do you go by?" And it's almost like you get the impression that it's a bit of a quiz. Like they know, but they're kind of asking anyway. What names do you go by?
People, I'm known as Baron Samedi, but you may call me the Baron.
One of them nods. The one on your left nods. Yeah.
And then I look at him and I go, "You don't need to know the rest of their names. I'm the one here. And I'm the one who speaks for them." And I give him a look.
And they say, "You're here with regards to Captain Katala, is that right?"
Are you really going to ask me questions that you already know the answer to? And I say, "We know that it's Iskala, not Katala. Your pretenses are starting to rankle me. I came here, I was polite, I did you the honor of addressing you in your own native tongue, and you're now starting to dishonor me?"
Well, I do sense a persuasion coming on.
Sure. I want to have Roll20 open when I do it. Bear with me. Well, it won't open, damn it! Alright, here we go. Got it. Alright. Persuasion. 14. Not terrible.
Okay. They can test that with... They can test it with the wisdom, isn't it?
Usually it's insight, but
sorry,
which is wisdom anyway.
Yeah. Let's see how this goes. Yeah, he's like, yeah, no, yeah. He goes, he can't bring himself to apologize. He nearly does, and he looks to his companion. He says, "Your word is true. Understand that I had to do my job." And he looks like he was about to sort of start running his thumb over his blade as if to suggest that it was sharp, but he chooses not to, and slowly sort of twists it in a sort of military fashion and drops it into his side and says, "There will be other guards along the way. We will escort you." No, actually, no, he says, "I will escort you." The other one stays at his post. And
may I have the honor of knowing your name?
He says, "I am Ivacus."
Ivacus. Well, Ivacus, it is my great pleasure to meet you.
He says, "I am grateful to meet you, and there are seldom few that have your polite manner. I'm but a mere guard, but I can say, perhaps if you keep up this train of manners, the Raj Pasha will obviously be very pleased to see you."
You honor me with imparting your wisdom. I appreciate it.
And he's just completely all the way through spoken in primordial, like 100%.
Yep, same.
And so he walks along with you. Lots of you instantly get the impression, like it seems like I was going to be a bit rude there, but it seems like the Baron has a certain carnal penchant, which means that he becomes aware of quite a lot of scantily clad courtiers around the palace, and they all just.
Does he walk into a vase? Like he turns his head and
yeah. You sort of walk in and you like, nearly trip over a Ming urn that's like sitting there, and it's basically probably the best palace you've seen in a long time. It's clear to see through the Baron's eyes that the Raj Pasha lives very well. and surrounds himself in considerable wealth. Like everywhere you go, there's like gold dragons, like breathing flame, or like even the braziers have gold on them, and rubies are present. It's a very opulent, nice looking palace as you walk in. It's obviously been designed to really almost intimidate the guests with his wealth.
Okay, pretty cool.
And so so Ivacus looks to both Dorful and Finn, kind of like looks at them like they're being a bit quiet. What are you both sort of doing? How are you behaving there, Dorful and Finn, as you come in?
For once, being good and just following behind to the Baron's. We're gonna say I'm on the Baron's right, just following behind him at a, step behind, a respectful distance.
Okay.
I'd look like a bit of an airhead, like I haven't understood anything they've said, even though I perfectly have. I can't remember if they know or not that, what I am. So.
Well, the Baron may or may not know, but he'll sort of tell you what the general things of the conversation and the bits about the etiquette, and assume that even if you knew that, you're pretending not to know. So he'll convert it into common.
For our benefits, okay.
Well, more for the benefit of anybody else listening to think that you don't understand what he's saying, or what other people are saying. But he'll explain that, but he'll explain
Dorful's benefit.
Yeah.
Like, Dorful actually has no idea. He's sitting back with a blank look on his face, just paying attention to everything else that's going on.
Well,
Yeah.
the Baron will talk to you about just, that by being polite and showing these people honor and so forth, it's better than other strategies.
So,
I'm
He
using
bows
my-
awkwardly to one of the guards.
Sorry, say
in my
again?
I said he bows awkwardly to one of the guards.
well, fantastic. So as you sort of walk in, I'll just reveal a bit more of the map for you. I can quickly show you what the Afriti looks like now, because I've frantically uploaded him. Oh, can I? Oh, here I can. Handout. Choose. Fuck's sake. He's coming, so I'm finding the atmospherics a little bit distracting now as well. Let me just kill them.
Yeah, you also probably want to move our tokens inside so we can see what the building looks like.
Yeah. Alright, so basically this is what you two were confronted with.
Ooh.
Fuck off.
He's a
Nice.
bit of a scary bastard. And you get the impression that he knows his way around a sword, most definitely. Not to be trifled with. Not to be blancmange with either. Let me just reveal. Get that out of the way. So you basically walk into the palace. Now, whereas most palaces, like royal palaces, would be like a hallway, etc., with like artwork and what have you. This kind of opens up straight away. It's almost as if the owner of this building is more sort of showing off his love of like nature, and you get the impression, obviously, with all the fire and flames around, that the Raj has an attunement towards like fire, flame, nature, the elements. And in fact, that's actually something, as you sort of look around, that's very reflective throughout the whole of Dhukkan Wakharab, is the fact that it's obviously their leader is a fire, a Friti, and a practitioner and a worshipper of Kossuth. And this is his interpretation of reflecting it back. So like there's flames within water fountains and magic doing really crazy cool stuff. And you sort of walk into the main sort of foyer here, and you guys can obviously move forwards if you wish. If you can see that, yeah? Let me get rid of that. Yeah.
Yeah, let's move your tokens.
Yeah. And here. Just in that spot is obviously a nice, comfy looking couch. Now, as you get to this sort of next sort of area, the doors are closed just here, and Ivaka says, "Just wait here, and I'll see if the Rajpashar is available." And he sort of rolls his eyes a little bit. He says, "Please feel free to make yourself comfortable." He claps his hands, and it's quite thunderous. It's like, poof, poof, and a few sort of handmaidens and like serfs come up and start sort of busying and saying, "Can I take your sword? Can I take your cloak? Or is there anything you like?" And they sort of rush up, and they always they have this sort of interesting looking drinks at the ready for you to sort of make yourself comfortable. And it's up to you whether you're impressed by that or not. But it's a display of hospitality, and there's no hostility here so far.
The Baron asks for a flaming sambuca.
Oh yeah, well that is definitely gonna, yeah, that'll be on the cards. So they rush off to tend to your every kind of need. It's up to you whether you want to sit down or whether you just stand around. We will go back to the garden where our sneaky team is.
Okay. All right. Let's get everyone in.
Yeah. So I would say, what's that?
Has Deval managed to get the gate open then?
He's going to need to do some. He's going to need to do an attack roll, or
Quickly.
Yeah.
I'm just going to let Deval know that we've walked it through the front door. Because I cast message so that I could talk to him in his head, and he could reply
Awesome.
back.
I can
So I've
reply.
just
Awesome.
let him know that we're in through the front door and we've been made to feel welcome. So be very careful.
We're gonna Ocean's 11 this thing.
There's some efforty.
Duval's gonna respond with, "We're subtly finding a way to the northeast. We'll message again in 2 minutes."
That's good.
All right. As for the vines, if Duval's cutting, he's going to be doing this very, very slowly, calmly, just trying to get blade on vine and slide. He's not trying to make too much noise.
Okay. Make me an attack roll. Is anyone else helping, or are they just standing there, or?
Definitely happy for the help. If anyone's got a dagger or anything that's sharp.
And Mark will pull out the dagger and kind of gently try not to, because she's visible, not to be noticed as she's cutting away some of the outside vines.
We have got like the wizards have pen knives. That's about it. We've got like small knives. We've got our letter openers out.
Okay, well, it doesn't take too long for you to break through. Let me just see what your damage is. Okay.
He'd probably be soaring with 2 hands, so probably 9 all up.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty thick. It's obviously thick enough that it's been overlooked by the gardener on the outside, but most people, I guess, you get the impression that once it was ornate, people aren't too afraid about intruders. Like this is a soft spot that's been overlooked. You're able to work your way in, and I will need Well, whoever's helping to sort of move the vines will need to do me a strength check, please.
We all need a strength check.
Only if you're helping move the vines. Otherwise, you can be like, I don't want to break a nail, and not help.
It's okay. My -1 strength. Oh boy.
Oh,
Don't worry, magic users. I've got this.
Thank you.
And I kind of look down, embarrassed, like,
I think Amarth was actually like pulling the vines back into place.
yeah.
So this is exactly what happens, right?
You have a pen. It's not going to do much.
You've got Rain and Qualdrin and Amarth all pushing on the vines, and it's not really giving. And then Duval just makes a slight sort of nick with his blade and just tugs it, and you all fall like in a comic book, like all on top of each other, just like in a cartoon. And you're currently prone, apart from Duval. But I suppose, Duval, you don't really see it, you hear it. And Amarth, you hear it, but you don't see it, which is weird. Yeah. So you guys are definitely in. Which way would you like to go? You are faced, let me describe it a little bit more. So you are, the palace is very warm, and even warmer, in fact, than it should be for having been cooked in like the desert sun all day. It's quite tall. It's a shallower part of the castle and a lesser used part. You guess that this could be like staff quarters or that kind of thing. Currently, as you sort of tumble your way through the gate, you aren't aware of any guards so far.
All right. Guessing we're looking for any windows, any vantage points that we can see in the walls. If we can't see anything immediate, then yeah, creeping around. Maybe the more invisible of us starting to creep around over kind of to this point to see if there's any entry points along any of these areas.
So I'll just reveal what you can see, because you would see this. Here you're aware of lots of windows.
Amarth will kind of like try and keep crouched below them.
So are you acting like a guard, or are you acting like a sneaky? Because you're visible
I think I'll
currently.
probably act like a guard, like I'm supposedly guarding the back.
Okay, so
Kind of.
just roll me perception quickly as you're up the front there. Very nice. So it's not difficult to miss. The longbow guard kind of looks tired and bored, and he's sort of leaning into his bow a little bit, and he sort of looks over and kind of looks and then waves like to, like everything's well, everything's fine, like to see what you sort of say.
I give like a green nod. Yeah, everything's good, little. Yeah.
Everything's fine. Everything's great. Okay. And he sort of nods back, and it's almost like that's assured him. Like he's maybe a bit tired, he's overworked, and just seems a little fatigued, and he kind of like readies himself, stands up on edge, but really goes to look out on watch again, back to his post, as it were. So he was kind of slacking off, and seeing you has like reassured him, and he's now looking out instead of distracted. So you get the impression that's probably a better outcome. Okay, so basically, like I say, you can't really see in any of the windows. The windows are thin glass. They have decorative flames pretty much in like stained glass in the center of each sort of window, and are made up of many sort of the leading and and they're quite clear, obviously, because it's a posh, opulent place. Is there anything you'd like to do? How are you approaching the castle? Are you trailing the wall, or are you trailing close to the castle? Sort of which direction would you like to go?
I'm just gonna kind of not close to the castle, kind of just a little bit away from the wall, like kind of where I am away from the wall, and kind of just follow along the wall going up and then turning, kind of doing like a guard march type thing.
Okay, no
Just trying
worries.
to find a wall.
Perfect.
Beautiful stuff. So position yourself where you want to be.
All right, from where Duval's been walking around and just kind of keeping in stride, although invisibly behind Amarth, he's just going to keep going on that same track there. He wants to try and get a lay of as much as he can, even though he can't get too much of a purchase through looking through the windows. Just looking for an entry point anywhere along this route.
Right. So are you still being stealthy?
Oh yeah, definitely. Still stealthy and very invisible.
Right. I would say roll me a stealth, obviously clearly with advantage.
Oh boy. All things considered, not so bad.
Okay.
Just
that's-
remember, Simon, at some point in time, they're going to fail. Like, if you keep asking for it, it's just going to fail.
Yeah, that's it. But
If I hear noises behind me, like I can hear them walking, I'm just gonna like kind of make myself a little noisier, make it seem like it's me,
okay.
like guarding along.
So as you do that, Amarth, from out of a blind corner, a Efreeti guard sticks his head down and looks down towards you.
I'm gonna give a little bit of a nod and then turn, like guard turn, and step backwards behind the wall.
Okay. So, yeah, that was. Whilst it was triggered, it wasn't enough to trigger any suspicion. Obviously, your presence is enough to deter him having a look. But what that has done is obviously revealed this guy's position. Gives you an idea of the lay of the land so far. Is there anything else you'd like to do?
I'm gonna kind of like, I can vaguely know where they are from Echo, the blind spot, so I'm gonna kind of try and dress them and motion that I saw guard up the other way. Like, the
We'll
hand motion
acknowledge
like
that very, very quietly behind, and maybe very, very delicately whisper to Rain. Anything that could get us through a window? Magic?
I'm afraid my spells are not quite that subtle.
Duval, as you're right by the window there, you don't need to roll a perception because the windows are quite large. You look in, and it looks to be like sleeping chambers of some kind. There's a few sort of writing equipment on a desk, but as it goes, it's a small, humble-ish room, and there's currently no one in there.
Okay. I might try my trick, given just kind of making advantage of this invisibility, do my same trick of manifesting the echo and then switching places with it quickly and dismissing the echo to kind of get myself inside that room to see if there's any way I can start trying to open a latch or swing the window open for the rest.
Okay, so bamf yourself into where you wish to be.
I will keep my invisible butt up in this corner. Well, if I can see that corner, maybe I could see on a slight tangent over to there.
Yeah. Given the angle of the windows, yeah. So as you walk into the room, you are aware of what I mentioned, but you also now see a small door here. Looks like a closet of some sort. Excuse me.
And I'll just see if there's any way that I can open maybe this window for the rest of the group, as opposed to that one that seems to be a bit more in line with one of the guards.
100%, yeah. So now that you're inside, you do have access to the latch, and you're able to sort of unhook it and basically open it up. There's no alarms triggered or some such that you're aware of. And you guys have an in. Nicely done. Like
Some Harry Potter stuff. Just a window moving of its own volition.
And so on the first floor, you guys are presented with a window. Duval, you're inside.
Do we need to make any checks to get through the window, or?
It's a big window, so you can literally, you wouldn't need to like do any desperate kind of climbing or anything like that. I haven't asked for any like stealth, so you're pretty good there. You currently this room seems to be unattended.
All right. It's around about now that I'll kind of sit back a little bit and let the more stealthy Rain do things like peeking through doors or having a look through curtains, because my stealth is not that fantastic.
Well, we have a homunculus, but we have familiars, but we've swapped them. Otherwise, our familiars could go scouting. But
I am in a guard's. I look like a guard, so it wouldn't be that weird if I was in a door.
like, we're invisible. We should be fine, surely.
Yeah, all of us except Amarth, who's the only visible one at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. And she's a guard.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I will poke my head out the door. Sure.
Woohoo.
While Qualdrin searches this room, I recommend we give this room a thorough search. Although I don't know, if it appears to be like a grand bedroom, then we will. But if it's just like a guest room, maybe not.
It's more like a guest room. Like I said, there's not really like there's any ancient scrolls or tomes or anything around, but it seems to be sort of pertaining to someone that likes to maybe like write a lot. There's a lot of scribing equipment around, although there isn't any literature as such.
I said to Qualdrin, do you know, you told me that his library is quite impressive. Any idea where it is in orientation to us?
She points up and then realizes that you can't see her, and then she says upstairs. He has a circular library upstairs.
Invisible directions are the best.
Yeah. Well, very well. We shall keep that as a secondary objective, perhaps. I will open the door and have a squiz.
Right, so it's a curtain that's here,
Yes.
and having a brief glimpse around, you see this room here. So a door off to what is going to be your left. Very much like the door in this corner here.
All right. Divide and conquer. We'll go and check
Yeah.
each of the doors individually to start getting a lay of the land.
Yep, I will open mine and have a look.
Okay.
This place must be so breezy, all of these, random doors opening up.
So Duval, you open to a small sort of closet. There's a lot of clothes stored in here, like ceremonial-looking robes, and what you notice. Roll me a perception. Oh no, are you rifling? No, roll me a perception.
Yeah, I'll be looking but not touching.
Okay, yeah. So roll me a
Yeah,
perception.
not fantastic. That's 9.
Okay, 9. With a 9, there's you happen to notice on a couple of the all of the clothing seems to be like this dark sort of midnight blue, and on a couple of them is adorned like a bronze-looking scorpion. Either some of them are sewn in, like embroidered, or some are just like a brooch of a bronze scorpion.
All right. Yep, I'll leave them as they lay. I'll point them out to Qualdrian if it kind of triggers anything for her, or kind of tap a Marth on the shoulder and kind of point her in that direction if there might be a better disguise in there.
Okay, so yep.
I have no idea what these robes are for.
As you walk towards these robes, you roll me history, please. To the best of your knowledge, and you do go through quite a considerable database by the looks of it, you sort of dip dry. You've never really heard of this sort of. It's not like it symbolizes a militia or a particular cult or anything like that. To the best of your knowledge.
I'm just gonna kind of do a little shrug and say, I'm not sure.
Okay, Rain, as you poke your head through, you will see this. Unless there's anything else that Duval or Amarth would like to do in the room.
Nothing for Duval. He's going to start moving to Rain, well, in the direction that Rain went.
Oh, it's just a very long corridor. I have to get out to explore it.
That gives you an idea. All right, so we go back to the other guys now. You've been given your refreshments and your drinks. What I can point out for you, which I perhaps should have done, is that here is this is a rug. And it seems like everyone seems to sort of sit on the floor. So these are like big, comfortable cushions. And it seems like almost like a games area.
We can't see the whole room.
No, but...
Yep.
So as it
There we
stands, couple of windows, but you can't see through the windows. Unless you roll. Oh, okay. So you're walking into the games room, kind of thing.
Oh no, sorry. I thought that was where we were going. All right, never mind. I'll just look through. I'll just poke my head in, wave, say hello, sort of, then poke my head back out. Is there anybody in there?
There's actually no one in there at the moment currently. There seems to be a lot of commotion or more sort of noise coming up from the north of the building, and like surrounding areas, and from above you as well. Like it seems like not many people are interested in games at the moment.
All right, nobody's playing Battleship. Okay.
No. Baron, they're playing the Baron games that you were playing last night. Seems to be upstairs. So it's a little while passes. Obviously enough time for the guys to sort of sneaky in. Eventually, Ivacus comes back down, and he says, the Raj Pasha will be with you momentarily. He's asked me to show you up. He's just changing, he says. And sort of, he says, just bear with me for a moment, and I'm sure he'll be free soon. So he kind of tries to pacify you, and they sort of ply you with drinks once again, and some time passes, and he says, "Right, very well. He will see you." So you sort of get led through. I'll just reveal it. You get led through. You would see this here. This here. There's a. This is like the ground. This is like the center of the palace, as it were. It opens up, and it's incredibly ornate. There's I was going to say hundreds. There's a multitude of bronze statues, all sort of depicting Kossuth, standing like with his hands, both hands on the edge of his hilt of his sword as it sort of points down into the ground. You get to as you come close, you can tell that they're incense burners, and smoke sort of seems to be bellowing from his mouth and eyes, and it's incredibly warm now. It's starting to get very warm in the palace.
Did you say there's like, is there any sparks or flames or anything?
Oh yeah, everywhere. This is like an Afriti house, so yeah, there's flames and braziers burning everywhere.
All right, so the Baron rolls a the Baron pulls out a cigar, uses Mage Hand to, float it to where like the nearest flame is, light it, and then bring it back to his mouth.
So you're doing that on a religious statue of some significance, or are you doing that on a random brazier?
Brazier.
Significant statue. Significant statue.
We'll go with a brazier.
Okay. Actually, so surprisingly, at that, Ivakis nods in appreciation, and seems to almost welcome the smoke. He encourages you to come up to the right side here of the what would you call that? The center part of the palace, and I'll just reveal.
Is it up the stairs?
Yeah,
or not?
It's up the stairs. Yeah. I'm gonna polygon line, and you get to see dum dum. You get to see on the other map, because there's an upstairs and a downstairs. You basically pop up over here as you walk up. Dorful, you're there as well. And let's just drop in Ivakis.
Have we disappeared? Because I can't see anything.
Oh, off to the right. Zoom out. Off to the right.
You threw us into the inky. Oh! Right.
Yeah, there's like a upstairs and a downstairs.
Okay, I see it, yep.
Because it's not 3D, so.
Okay, sure.
And so he takes you along like a corridor, and up here there's just heaps of people everywhere. I haven't bothered to populate it, but it seems to be where most people are hanging out. It's like his crib, as it were. And there's an abundance of bedrooms for his guests. As you sort of walk, you basically sort of, I can show you this. It's a long corridor to the left and the right. And let me just clear that up so you know that it's a circle. And he knocks onto the door here and waits for a reply. There's a reply, and I'm just randomly chucking in tokens. It's not a math, but basically it invites you in, and you are in the main quarters of the Raj Pasha. As such, the guard waits out the front of the door. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna let Deval know that we are upstairs and we appear to be being led to the Raj.
Sorry, what does the guard ask us to do? Just to wait?
He's knocked on the door and he's been told that he said you hear this sort of thunderous sort of booming voice like, "You may enter."
Oh well, in that case, like open the door and enter, I assume, if that's what the command was.
Alright, very well. So chuck yourself in the room while I... Now, this isn't a Marth standing next to the Afriti. The
It's like
Raj
plot
Pasha.
twist.
Yeah. that would take more explaining than than I have in me at the moment. He says, welcome to my home. He says, I almost thought that there would be more. There's not more of you?
Greetings, noble Raj, ruler of these lands, great and powerful. We have other companions, but at the moment they were not they were not ready to meet you. They're less civilized. We wouldn't want them causing, I don't know, insult when none was actually meant to be.
This saddens me greatly, but I'm still glad that you received my message. You are here for your friend.
Yes, believe that our friend washed upon your fortuitously to your palace, and we have received your message that you are graciously hosting her. So we have come to take her off your hands, if that would be an appropriate terminology.
He says, well, he says, as I mentioned, she is gravely ill currently, in a coma that even I and my vizier, and he sort of gestures behind him. And for a moment, it's almost difficult for you to see anyone else sort of standing there, but in the half light from the flickering flames, a long, inky dressed looking, heavily robed sort of female sort of saunters forwards from top to bottom. She's like wrapped in midnight blue like robes, thick sort of velvet robes, and with her hands in like each of her sleeves, she sort of bows and lowers herself and nods and sort of takes a step back. And wait, roll me a perception real quick, Baron. You get the. It's almost like the. It's like the Raj Prashad just nodded slightly, although nothing was spoken, but it was like he nodded slightly. And this is all while he sort of carries on. So he says like, sadly she is gravely ill, as a lot of her surviving crew before the same fate. He says, I consider myself a humanitarian, and I am fortunate enough to be able to extend help and care where it is needed. And these unfortunate crew and their captain washed up on my shores of Dhukkan Wakharab. The fishermen brought them ashore, and they have been in a coma ever since. Now, we've tried everything, and I think there's some darker magic at play.
His companion, or the one who, like his advisor, or his, I don't know what you want to call it.
The vizier?
Vizier, is also an Afriti or some other race?
It's incredibly difficult for you to tell. She's much more slender. By all accounts, she... roll me... roll me nature, please.
Yeah, alright, never seen it.
Yeah, it's barely it's difficult to even associate recognize that she's a female under the robes. Like I say, just imagine a long line of robes, basically, but incredibly slender and quite sort of tall.
Well, Your Grace, that is we appreciate all the assistance you have rendered. And it can be frustrating when those who we have taken under our care cannot be nursed back to health. I was wondering if you would find it appropriate whether or not we could examine her and what remains of her crew. We come from foreign lands, as you're aware, and maybe some of these maybe something more exotic she has picked up that is not experienced in the beautiful deserts here and Wayne can't pronounce it, but I'm sure the Baron can.
Dhukkan Wakharab.
Yeah, that's it.
Just think like Dhukka Vapor Rub is how I've been trying to remind myself about it.
Dhukkan Wakharab.
Dhukka Vapor Rub. Dhukkan Wakharab.
Sure. That's what he's going to call it. Dhukkan Wakharab.
He says very well. He says, I don't have the power at the moment to help her, but I think I know a way I think I know a way of making her better. But sure, very well, come with me. And he sort of beckons you kind of down here. And he says, please follow me, my friends. And it's going to obviously be difficult because there's lots of graffiti around the joint now. But takes you through one room, which is like it's as you sort of come in, I'll reveal both. It's the first room you enter has been like there's couches and there's cushions, and it's been made into like a makeshift kind of hospital. What you find is there is still incredibly opulent, but there are like nurses kind of tending to the, I guess, like the bed sores of the remaining crew. They're not really crew that you recognize, but you didn't really, although you spent some time with them, they're not really ones that you recognize. And what probably saddens you is the fact that there's only 3 in the room, and they're all in a comatose state. He sort of brings you through and sort of leans over Captain Escala's bed and sort of says, please come in, see her. It's the situation is grave. And sure enough, you see Captain Escala resting in a comatose state, barely breathing, and yeah, is currently in the bed. He says, we've tried everything that we can currently to hand. I have an idea, I have a plan, but currently I draw a loss. And at that, we'll go back to the other guys. What would you like to do?
Guess we're going to try and peek out down the hallway.
And getting that message from Finn as well, relaying back. It's like, okay, we're inside. We're downstairs, but making our way, looking for anything. We'll leave soon, but call if there's trouble. And they'll continue on down their little escapade of having a look at things while still invisible. Kind of create a daisy chain of invisible hands, so that we can make sure that we're keeping in tow with each other.
And ask if like the Raj Pashar seems in his own mind.
Of
Or
course,
perhaps-
Developer
Maybe
would
begin
be
to
really
insinuate.
whistle through.
The Raj seems to be of his own mind, but Scala is not well and he doesn't seem to know what to do. It is a very concerning situation.
Maybe her soul's been taken.
Maybe that could explain it. We are seeing if we can move her and the 3 other shipmates, so that we may care for them ourselves.
I don't know. Can we provide care superior to the Raj, though? Well, I guess we can't leave them here forever.
Yes, I'm all worried that if their souls have not been taken, they could be in the future. Fin out.
Fin out. Roger. Roger. Breaker. All right, so you guys sort of poke your head out from the room, and you see, let's just call him a reveler. So he's a scant-clad kind of a very attractive-looking guy who is just sort of busying himself with a drink that he seems to have just bothered the serfs with. He kind of let's just see if he even notices you first. Oh, 16. He doesn't actually notice you, which is because you just sort of, you're not moving, so you're just poking your head out. He kind of walks along with his drink and looks directly at whoever's poking their head out. And you think for the moment that the jig is up, and then suddenly he just goes, "Ah!" And then he turns around and he goes, "Ice!" And then he turns around and is out of sight and starts heading down this way. Leaves the corridor kind of clear. What you can hear from this room here, especially you, Marth, lots of voices and laughter, horseplay, as it were.
Well, I'll kind of follow. We're all going out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
I'll kind of follow out and then continue up with this, like, I am totally a guard. I am totally meant to be here.
Own it.
You're safe.
Okay, very well. So as you sort of make your way into the corridor, like I say, downstairs it's pretty quiet. You're getting a lot of sound coming from upstairs, and obviously that's something that the other crew have noticed. There's lots of revelry happening, and there's a couple of like locked doors with some very familiar sounds coming from them that you probably don't need to have blind sight to know what's going on in there. Down at the very end of the corridor is a door, which you can just about see, but the rest of it, obviously, this side is still a little bit. It isn't revealed yet.
I'll kind
All
of
right.
motion to Duval to go look down the other hallway.
Nice. Try and cover as much ground as we can before starting to head back, before kind of invisibility becomes any closer to apparating. So he's just going to shoot on down to that corner section on the other side and see if he can sneakily have a look around, see if there's anything that might be a little bit more pertinent, or if it's a red herring.
Okay. So as you sort of peek around the corner and look down, coming towards you, well, like literally almost standing on top of you, is an Afriti guard who's just sort of seems to be doing the rounds and is like heading up this. I can't do it. But heading up this direction, up this way.
Okay. Duval will slink back and kind of nip around that corner just to make sure he's out of the way.
Mark
Okay.
will probably be going down this way to see if she can hear anything behind the door, while Duval's going the other way.
All right, fair enough.
Hear any?
You can't hear anything. Roll me a perception.
definitely can't hear.
Oh no.
Unfortunately, yeah, your senses are somewhat dulled at the moment, and yeah, you can't hear anything coming from that room. I have to put my hand up and say I'm not fueled by alcohol tonight. I'm a little bit knackered. Does anyone mind if we like pick it up tomorrow or next
I'm
session?
happy to call it there. I'm knackered as well.
Yeah, I just can't. I
Yeah.
can't focus anymore, and I want to give you like the best. I'm missing lots of stuff, and yeah.
All good.
I don't mind doing it tomorrow, but I can't have a late night tomorrow because Tuesday's a work day for me.
Oh yeah, same.
Ditto.
All
Yeah,
right,
I might be
well-
hard pressed for tomorrow, but see how we go.
All right, well,
Okay.
see how we feel
Tentative
tomorrow. And yeah, it's tentative tomorrow. I think I might get in the doghouse as well, but you know, I've got a pillow there, so that's fine.
Is the couch still in there? You're all good.
All right, we're all staying on Matt's carpet. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yep. There's plenty of space here.
Everyone on the carpet.
Yeah, just bring your own sleeping bag. That's fine.
All
right,
Cruz?
kids. I am going to bed.
Yeah, me too. I've
Yeah,
been.
same.
Ditto.
Ooh.
Be
Oh,
good.
Thank you all.
Thanks so much.
See
You guys have done pretty well, and yeah, your sneaky sneakies has saved you a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. That's for sure.
It's
Some
something
of
a bit
us,
different.
some of us
I hope
haven't
so.
snuck in,
Yeah.
like gone through the front door. Has that saved us blood and tears? Because otherwise, there's going to be blood and tears next week.
Well, technically, you being your charismatic self has saved us probably some drama.
I have to say, yes, definitely. Wayne, the way that you have handled yourself so far has definitely stood you in good stead. I didn't know which way it was going to go, but yeah, you did very well there. I think it's a great plan as well. Like I think you had a fantastic plan, and then that, you know, needs rewarding. You've done some really awesome stuff in game that I've given a nod to. Like,
Cool.
done well. All right, guys, I've got a bit of a headache. I'll catch you later.
Be
Yeah,
good.
I've got a bounce. Have a good night, guys.
Bye.
I mean, ciao, folks. I'll stick around if anyone else is.
I'll stick around for a few seconds.